Louis Police Board's budget battle with Mayor Kara Spencer got personal yesterday. We'll find out more at 6:03.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. Can living under constant threats of severe weather cause mental health issues? We'll get more from KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunshine mixing with clouds today. The high 68. Look for a shower tonight.
The Pirates down to their last out. Tying run at first, winning run at the plate, a swing and a high fly ball. That's hit to deep left field. Church back at the wall. He jumps. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner.
Incredible win and catch for the Cardinals. We'll have it in 15 minutes.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Fuel prices have taken off this morning. If you head to the gas station, you'll find the average price up 27 cents from a week ago to $4.30 for a gallon of regular for this driver in Detroit.
Looking at it now, I mean, that's actually insane. So, got nothing I can really do about it, but it is pretty outrageous.
Jacob Rutana, a landscaper in Ohio, is making adjustments.
We condensed our routes slightly, limit our driving because we really didn't want to increase any prices as far as the work-based side of things.
Brent crude has climbed above $126 a barrel. With the U.S. Navy blockade of the Strait of Hormuz still in place, the head of the International Energy Agency warns the world is facing the biggest energy crisis in history. President Trump has rejected an offer from Russian President Putin.
He told me he'd like to be involved with the enrichment if he can help us get it. I said, I'd much rather have you be involved with ending the war with Ukraine.
Today, Iran's president said the U.S. blockade of the strait is doomed to fail. One of the aircraft carriers in the Middle East will head home soon.
The USS Gerald R. Ford and its 4,500 sailors have been deployed for 10 months, a record for a modern U.S. aircraft carrier. It needs repairs after a laundry room fire. During a House hearing yesterday, California Democrat and Navy veteran Gil Cisneros warned the Ford's needs could hurt the readiness of other warships.
It's going to have ramifications down the road extending for this much.
The Ford is expected to return to Norfolk, Virginia in mid-May, reducing the U.S.'s firepower in the Middle East. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The California teacher accused of an assassination attempt on President Trump is due in court for a bail hearing today. Meantime, we're learning more about the shooting at the Correspondents' Dinner Saturday. CBS's Matt Gutman from Washington.
Now, former Secret Service leaders tell us the issue of the open ballroom doors was an issue, and that's because it offered a direct line of sight to the president. They also say more should have been done to have prevented the suspect from even getting into that secure area. The Secret Service says it is launching a mission review to assess what went wrong.
Campus police have arrested a man for allegedly running a meth lab at Michigan State. University Police Chief Mike Yankowski.
Our number one priority is to provide a safe environment here on campus, and we take that very, very serious.
The 31-year-old suspect is also accused of destroying parts of Wells Hall. Police say he was found with chemicals like hydrochloric acid, butane, acetone, and sodium hydroxide. The building is closed through tomorrow. Dow futures are up 372. This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount.
It is 6:03 and it is 43 degrees with clear skies. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. If you've been missing mail, well, this might be why. A large pile of undelivered mail has been found in a vacant North St. Louis lot. The Postal Service is investigating how it got there and coming up with plans to deliver the mail. The pile includes bills, even an insurance card for addresses all over St. Louis City, some as far away as Ferguson.
The legal standoff between St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer and the state-controlled police board's attorney got unusually blunt, with neither side willing to budge.
I have no doubt.
You're 100% sure that we can do this?
Yeah. Yes.
But again,
and as you are 100% sure that we can't do it, I'm sure we can. So
I did not. You didn't.
Can we agree to disagree?
Mr. Gerbill, this isn't about agreeing to disagree. This is about a legal procedure.
At the heart of the dispute, whether $5.3 million in unspent police funds reverted back to the city at the end of the fiscal year, or whether the board can still direct how it's spent. Spencer says it's a matter of legal procedure. The board says the money was already appropriated and theirs to use. The Board of Estimate and Apportionment is the next in line to try to sort it out.
A Farmington police officer is now on leave after facing sexual assault allegations. Farmington Chief of Police Chris Bullock says he received the complaint in late March. He says the unnamed officer will remain on leave until an investigation is completed. In a statement released yesterday, Bullock says the officer was not a paid city employee at the time of the allegation, which is June 2016.
It started with a petition protesting a data center in St. Charles. Now there's a new citizen group hoping to continue constructive dialogue with city leaders. KMOX's Megan Lynch spoke with the founder on Total Information AM.
Stewards of St. Charles was founded by Scott Stratton Henderson.
What we don't want to be is another loud activist group.
Stratton Henderson is a college student who loves St. Charles and wants to help build the future.
We want to provide actual solutions. We want to be a part of problem solving. We want to have that communication line open with the councils. We don't want to burn bridges.
He does add transparency is important, and the group will also work to get citizens information. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Homeowners and businesses are still trying to rebuild from last year's May tornado. Now we're in the midst of another stormy spring.
Storm fatigue has real impacts on our mental health.
People are remembering what happened last year, but at the same time, you're getting a lot of warnings all the time that something might happen again.
Washiu's Sama Abdallah studied the impact of Hurricane Harvey on residents of Houston. She says even people who weren't directly impacted were still experiencing mental health concerns years later.
Or that is a reminder of the traumatic event, and you keep feeling like something else might happen that actually makes your mental health worse.
Abdallah says if you've experienced a traumatic weather event, it can help to avoid social media or news coverage beyond necessary safety information. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It's been a busy couple of days for the Missouri Department of Transportation after Monday's severe storms caused flooding and road closures across the state. As the waters recede, crews are carefully inspecting roads to decide when it's safe to reopen them. MoDOT's Chief Safety and Operations Officer Becky Almaroth explains to MissouriNet how they do it safely.
Generally, what we tell our crews, get out and look. And if you can't see the roadway through the water, which if you have more than about 6 to 12 inches of water, you probably can't see the roadway, we tell our crews not to enter.
Almaroth says at the height of the storms, floodwaters forced the closure of about 50 roads across the state.
One of downtown St. Louis's most iconic buildings is getting a major makeover. Here's Michael Calhoun.
The artist who painted the giant mural that wraps 3 sides of the Edison Brothers building in downtown St. Louis is coming back to restore it. Richard Haas created the realistic artwork in 1984, depicting scenes from the 1904 World's Fair, including an image of King Louis IX on the south face of the building. His return is part of an $81 million renovation by Midas Hospitality, which plans to reopen the nearly century-old landmark as the Sheraton St. Louis downtown in fall 2027. The project includes a new rooftop deck that is 1 block from Enterprise Center.
From the KMOX business desk, Bed Bath & Beyond is back, but in a new container. The Container Store was recently purchased out of bankruptcy and has launched a store-changing event to integrate Bed Bath & Beyond into its 98 locations, including the one in Brentwood. There were once 6 Bed Bath & Beyonds in the St. Louis area until the store's 2023 bankruptcy filing when they all closed. Meanwhile, the Container Store is liquidating about a third of its inventory to make space.
Good information. It's I live 5 minutes from there. It's 6:08. We will check traffic and weather next.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10, and we owe you a check of traffic and weather together. We check in now with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still no change out west on Highway 70, Debbie, in Wright City. There's still just a brief backup through the city limits there as you approach Wright City, and then just as you exit Wright City, picks up pace back up. Overnight road work, obviously, in the area. And there's still a jam. It hasn't really changed much, so it hasn't gotten any worse, but it hasn't dissipated either. So there's still just a brief backup there. There's a little more volume down south, northbound 55, starting to see a slowdown approaching 141 up to the Merrimack River Bridge work zone, but north of Bayless, headed up toward the river to Perry in the city. That stretch looks okay. Still all right through that work zone, 270 at Ladue. Both directions running fine. Westbound 64 through 159 in the Fairview Heights area. Not seeing any issues. Don't forget this morning at 9 a.m., the next phase or another phase of the Rebuild 70 project begins. They're going to close the on-ramp from Highway W in Forestdale. The on-ramp from W to westbound 70 will be closed. And also the eastbound lane of the North Service Road on the west side of W will be shut down as well. Again, beginning at 9 a.m. this morning and lasting for the next 45 days. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
When you're injured on the job, you need more than just a workers' comp lawyer. When you need a fighter, you need us. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, for the people. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Sunshine mixing with clouds today, the high 68. It'll be rather cloudy for a while tonight with a couple of showers passing through, followed by late night clearing, low 45. Times of sun and clouds tomorrow, but very cool, high 61. Quite cool again Saturday with clouds and sun and a brief shower or two, the high just 60. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it's 42 in Florissant, 42 in St. Peters. We have a clear sky and 43 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:12. More St. Louis properties damaged by last May's tornado could be demolished. The city's Land Revitalization Authority approved a resolution Wednesday that allows the city to demolish 200 more properties.
The goal was to be able to fund $15 million in the demolition activities of properties that have been vacant, abandoned, and neglected for several decades.
The authority's director of real estate, Shelton Anderson, says more than half of the $15 million has been used to demolish 307 vacant St. Louis buildings. The money comes from ARPA funds, which would also fund the additional demos.
New data shows Missourians are using their phones less when driving. AAA reports a study from Cambridge Mobile Telematics showing Missouri drivers are using their phone 16% less after the passage of the hands-free law July 2023. The law prohibits drivers from doing anything that involves holding or watching a phone while driving, but allows different types of hands-free device use. The Missouri State Highway Patrol has issued over 4,000 citations and warnings to drivers still using handheld devices since January 2025.
The speed limit in Missouri hasn't changed in several decades, but could soon see a boost to a 75 mile per hour speed limit on rural interstates and highways.
The faster you go, more likely you're going to have a serious crash.
That's Chuck Farmer with the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. He's not on board with raising the speed limit, and neither is MoDOT. He says when the speed limit goes up, people just drive even faster.
What tends to happen is they just bump up to the next comfortable speed for them, which is 5-10 miles an hour above whatever the posted limit is.
The bill's sponsor says modern cars are safer and higher limits would improve traffic flow. The bill has passed the Senate.
The Missouri Department of Conservation is encouraging residents to give turtles a break. Rain and warm weather causes turtles to leave their homes and journey across roadways in the spring. Plus, they're known to bask in the sun on the warm asphalt. The department is asking drivers to slow down if you see a turtle on the road and if it is safe to drive around it. If it's safe for you to move the turtle, you should put it across the road in the direction it was heading.
We are in the middle of week 2 of Missouri's spring turkey hunting season. William Harris with the Department of Transportation reminds out-of-state hunters there are new limits in effect.
Non-residents are limited to one male or bearded turkey for their permits. But that does not include non-resident landowners. They still have a 2-bird limit.
Missouri residents can take 2 bearded turkeys. Spring turkey hunting season runs through May 10th.
Well, what a game we had last night. Again, Cardinals are putting on a show here, and it's all high drama. If you like that kind of stuff, the twists and turns, never a done deal in a Cardinals game. Whether they have a lead or they're behind in a game, you can be assured some sort of drama is going to unfold. Here's our cut of the game. It's from the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Final play. Cardinals are up 5-4. They've had the bases jammed before, the Pirates have. They've had runs score, and they did, to cut the lead to 5-4, and then this.
The Pirates down to their last out. Tying run at first, winning run at the plate, a swing and a high fly ball. That's hit to deep left field. Church back at the wall. He jumps. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. Up against the wall. Nathan Church was able to keep that in the park. And the Cardinals have won 3 in a row in Pittsburgh, winning tonight 5-4.
Piece of cake, right, Matt Pauley?
The Cardinals and Pirates provide high drama, with St. Louis winning 5-4 as they've won the first 3 games of the 4-game series. Up 5-1 going to the bottom of the 7th, Pittsburgh scores 2 in the 7th and 1 in the 8th to get within 1 run as Cardinals relief pitching falters and some plays are not made in the field. Closer Riley O'Brien comes on in the 9th and gives up a base hit to Ryan O'Hearn. With 2 outs, Nick Gonzalez hits a ball that could have been a game-winning home run, but instead, left fielder Nathan Church makes a great catch to secure the Cardinals' victory. Manager Oliver Marmol says his team found a way.
A lot to that one. Guys played hard, but again, they make it exciting and close. You look at what happened there in the later innings, and we just had trouble getting out.
The Cardinals are now 6-2 in one-run games and 11-2 when they score first. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Matt, they're in 3rd place in the NL Central, but just 2 games behind first place Cincinnati. The Reds lost yesterday. The Cubs are in 2nd place right now. Here's a look at the NL Central scoreboard. The Rockies clobbered the Reds in Cincinnati. Final score was 13-2 in that one. The Cubs won at San Diego 5-4, beating the Padres. So the Reds, then the Cubs a half game back. The Cardinals sit in 3rd place right now, 2 games out in the division. Milwaukee and Pittsburgh both 3.5 out. Stanley Cup playoffs. It was a victory in the clutch for the Philadelphia Flyers. They eliminated the Pittsburgh Penguins in overtime, 1-0. They move on to the next round after winning in 6. Vegas beats Utah in double overtime, 5-4 to take a 3-2 series lead. And the Montreal Canadiens do it again. They win at Tampa Bay 3-2 to send the series back home, up 3-2 in that series. St. Louis City SC advanced to the next round of the U.S. Open Cup with a win at Chicago. Jen Cease has that story coming up at 6:45. In the NBA, the Rockets and the Pistons kept their seasons alive with Game 5 victories. Cleveland moved up to a 3-2 lead on Toronto with a win at home. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:20 and time for us to get you updated on the roadways and the weather. So here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still no change on 70 out west, unfortunately, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of I-3 broadband. We still have this just a brief jam, and it really hasn't gotten any worse, but it's still backed up through Wright City on eastbound 70 in the construction zone. You just get east of the city limits, so that's not even midway into Forest Dell. It picks up the pace, and after that, it's moving fine. If you're on northbound 55, I mentioned last time up, you have slow traffic. It's north of Richardson, bogged down up to the Merrimack into that construction zone. A briefer delay, just a little busy between Bayless and Weber, northbound 55. After that, the other work zones, 270 at Ladue, fine. 64 through 159 in Fairview Heights. Not seeing any delays downtown. The bridges are still clear, so the rest of these area interstates wide open and looking good so far. Spring is here. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're springing forward with our longest price guarantee ever on our gig internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, it is going to be a nice day today. Cool, but nice. Sunshine mixing with clouds, high 68. A little chilly tonight, low 45, and then a chance of a shower, then some clearing late. Tomorrow, times of sun and clouds, quite cool for early May, high 61. High near 60 on Saturday with intervals of clouds and sun and a passing shower or two. We warm up Sunday, Monday with temperatures back into the mid-70s. Currently, it's clear and 43 downtown at the Arch. St. Louis County voters, you get the latest.
There will be something on the August ballot for St. Louis County voters that we're going to talk about with the executive director of the Municipal League of Greater St. Louis, and that is Pat Kelly. Let's talk about use taxes. What exactly, first of all, is the proposal that people will see?
So St. Louis County has put on the August 4th ballot an initiative to pass a countywide use tax, which is applying the local sales tax to internet purchases. We've been working with the county to put it on the ballot for several years.
There's going to be a lot of questions being put to voters about different taxes. You know, should we institute this tax? Should we repeal that tax? Are you concerned at all that people are going to start getting confused?
Yeah, I think that's always a concern. A big part of the use tax is really educating the voters on what it really means. One of the primary concerns over the years with having different cities pass a use tax has been that a lot of people think the use tax is a new tax, and it's not. It's really applying that local sales tax that they've been paying locally for years to these out-of-state purchases. Because 20 years ago, people weren't purchasing their 50-pound bag of dog food on the internet. They were going down to the local store and purchasing that. But today, people are having that delivered from their house by out-of-state vendors. And so what that's done to local communities is actually reduce their income. Because on a national average right now, it's about 16 to 17% of all retail purchases are online.
So if I'm thinking about an internet purchase, I know that most of the time it does apply a state tax, correct? But we're talking about a local tax in St. Louis County, not the state sales tax that gets applied.
That's exactly right. The state has had a use tax or a tax on internet purchases since the early 90s when it was first available. What changed was a federal lawsuit, the Wayfair Act in 1920, which allowed for retail purchases to be taxed consistently. And so that's when a lot of the cities in St. Louis County put it on the ballot. Currently, 54 of the 87 municipalities have a use tax in St. Louis County. So those residents have passed their local sales tax, but now we're trying to pass that countywide. One of the reasons for that is because, one, the municipalities share in some of that sales tax, but also the zoo receives a portion of that sales tax. Great Rivers Greenway will receive a portion of that sales tax, as well as the St. Louis County Communications Center, which are all, those taxes are all collected by St. Louis County and then distributed to these entities. So it will be a benefit to really a lot of communities throughout the St. Louis County and other entities, like I said, the zoo and Great Rivers Greenway.
So what would you say to people who say, well, I'm saving money right now because this tax isn't applied, so why would I want this?
Well, really, the voters approved those taxes locally years ago. And the reason I would ask them to support it is because when they are doing those purchases, they are saving money, but that's reducing budgets for local services. And this is, the municipalities and the county, we're the ones providing those day-to-day services, public works, police, fire, parks departments, those kinds of things. And we need those revenues. And as internet sales increase, local revenues are decreasing. And so we need to modernize our tax system to take advantage of those conveniences for those consumers. I really think that this really comes down to leadership. I think the elected officials have to come out and say why this is important for St. Louis County and try to educate the voters on why they need it. I mean, obviously, St. Louis County is having financial problems. This would solve that problem. We estimate that in the first year, St. Louis County would benefit at about $70 million a year. And currently they have a $40 million deficit. The other thing is part of the use tax that would actually increase that number is, and we don't know the number because they've never been taxed locally before, is the commercial purchases. So when businesses today in St. Louis County purchase out of state, they're not paying any sales tax. That'll be a whole new source of revenue for St. Louis County. And that number can be as big as the retail side of it.
All right. Pat Kelly is the executive director of the St. Louis Municipal League. Thanks so much for coming in and talking to us about this issue.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Debbie.
It's 6:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Storm damage in the St. Louis area. It is widespread. Thunderstorms are widespread in the St. Louis region. That's why we count on Gamma Tree experts to clean up storm damage after it takes place. Limbs that fall hit power lines sometimes, and certainly you got to get utility companies involved there. But in your home, your house is in line sometimes, so some dangerous limbs and things that will come crashing down into your yard. Gamma Tree experts can both examine the trees in your area before the storm, and after the storm hits, they can arrange for cleanup. They are online at gammatree.com, and they are the best in the business. Gamma Tree experts started in 1954, and they are still going strong. Municipalities lean on them. Businesses certainly lean on them, and so do homeowners, including us. Gamma Tree Experts is the company. They're online at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show. Weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
6:30 right now, and we've got sunshine in downtown St. Louis. It's 43 degrees, so a chilly start to the day. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see how the roads look. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. We'll get with him in just a bit. We've been hearing his connection a little bit loose, let's say, over the last couple of hours. Right now, we have had not a lot of traffic out there. Roads looking pretty clear. Some road work taking place here and there. We did have a stalled vehicle, 270 southbound past Big Bend, that was just cleared. Also, some road work, 44 westbound past 225, 185, which was just cleared. It's right now looking at sunshine mixing with clouds, a high of 68 today. We're also going to get mostly cloudy early tonight with a couple of showers, clearing late, low 45. Tomorrow, times of sun and clouds, quite cool for early May, and a high of 61. It's 43 right now.
Do we want to see if Roger has any updates for us that we might have missed?
Roger, you want to jump back in? No.
Okay. Well, it is now 6:31, and if you've been waiting for something to arrive in the mail and it hasn't come yet, this may be the reason. They have discovered a very large pile of undelivered mail in a vacant lot in North St. Louis. The Postal Service is currently investigating how that pile got there, and they're coming up with plans to deliver that mail. The pile, of course, includes bills, insurance cards, and addresses from all over St. Louis City and County.
The state-controlled St. Louis Police Board's budget battle with Mayor Kara Spencer turned testy yesterday, and the exchange got personal.
The lack of transparency and communication is unfortunate.
I'm going to. The transparency, the accusations of this body of being non-transparent is not going to be allowed to be articulated in this particular situation.
Mr. Saraceno, I'm allowed to articulate whatever I'd like.
That is Board President Chris Saraceno.
This is not a lack of transparency or a lack of accountability.
And I'm not going to be told what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say and what's not
not
tolerated here at the Board of Police Commissioners.
I didn't say that you
Mr.
couldn't say
President.
it. I didn't say you could not say it.
The board voted to redirect $5.3 million in unspent funds toward tasers, a gun range sound barrier, vehicles, and legal costs.
It might not be what looks to be the best at this point in time, but this team has worked very hard to try to get the necessary tools and resources within this budget to deliver for this department.
The request now goes to the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, although Spencer said she wasn't sure she could even bring it to a vote. Her argument is that unspent funds at the end of a fiscal year revert back to city reserves, and the state board can't simply redirect that money toward new purchases like tasers that weren't already committed obligations.
Hey, the Loop Trolley reopens today. Running along Delmar Boulevard, the trolley will be active from 11 to 7, Thursdays through Sundays through late October. This is the trolley's fourth consecutive season after temporarily closing in 2019 due to service issues and a low amount of users.
All right. Everybody wave when they go by.
I still haven't ridden the Loop Trolley.
Let's do that.
I know.
Let's do a live broadcast.
I still think they should make a Loop Trolley bar car. Bar
car,
like have a Loop Trolley bar crawl on the I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that might work on weekends.
Yeah, and then it ends up in Forest Park, and you can play there and then come back.
Fun.
Sounds like a pretty good day. Contact us if you'd like to do that. 6:34 and your Money Minute is next. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
It is 6:35. You are listening to Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Tom Ackerman. We'll check in with Roger Brand and Joe Lundberg to get you traffic and weather in 5 minutes. Right now, it is time for your money report. It's sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The Federal Reserve left interest rates unchanged yesterday, but revealed a deepening division over the outlook for policy caused by the Iran war. 4 officials voted against the decision. Meantime, Fed Chair Jay Powell says he intends to remain at the central bank as a member of its board of governors. President Trump's pick to head the bank, Kevin Warsh, won the backing of the Senate Banking Committee yesterday. Traders are focused on geopolitics. Recent efforts to get negotiators from the U.S. and Iran to meet have so far failed, with both sides maintaining their blockade of the vital Strait of Hormuz. S&P futures are down 5 points. Dow futures are falling 225. And Ford says it's in early discussions with the Trump administration about working on defense projects. Military officials have been trying to persuade manufacturers to help produce weapons and other military hardware that today is largely supplied by a relatively small number of defense contractors, such as Lockheed Martin and General Dynamics. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It is 6:36, and we need to talk about your backyard. Are you using it as much as you want to? Because chances are, if you haven't had anything done to it, you're not utilizing it the way you should. There are people who use their outdoor space like a whole nother room, maybe a whole nother house almost, because you can do some amazing things, and Chesterfield Fence and Deck can help make it happen. Whether you're looking for something simple, you just need a gate, a fence. They absolutely excel at that, and a fence can make a huge difference in a yard, I'll tell you from personal experience. But also, they can do a deck, a patio, a pergola, a sunroom, screen room, a retaining wall, all of the above at the same time, or just plan it out with them if you'd like it done a piece at a time. If you mention me, Debbie Monterrey, they will take 20% off your next outdoor project. The great thing about Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the quality of the work and the experience of their dedicated crews, which have been doing this exclusively for years. So it's going to be a project that's going to last for years to come. And that is a great value at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign, you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps, or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio, and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. legacybox.com/radio.
Experience an evening of love, beauty, and lush soundscapes as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe. 3 extraordinary pieces come to life, from Ravel's masterpiece to the world premiere of Nathalie Joachim's Family, to Kevin Putz's evocative Virulai. Nearly 300 musicians, May 8th through 10th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today,
the Cards, the Pirates.
Cameron Total Access 1040. First pitch 11:35.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:40, and let's get the latest from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
There's still traffic heavy out on Highway 70 in the Wright City area, Debbie, but it's getting better. This traffic reports the service of Artistic Decks. At least eastbound, there's no jam at Wright City. Now it's just slow. Approaching David Holcomb Parkway into Wentzville Parkway. Westbound 70, we had an incident midway out from Forestville to Wright City. It looks like they cleared it. It was jammed 5 minutes ago. Now it's just a heavy slowdown going westbound through there. A couple of slow spots. Southbound 61P down to 64. If you're on northbound 270, it's bogged down through Gravois. Doherty Ferry up to Manchester. After that, it sorts itself out. We have a crash on eastbound 30 at Little Brennan, or just before Little Brennan. We have a jam back to about Dillon Road right now because of it. Northbound 55, north of Richardson, headed up to the Merrimack. You've got heavy traffic. The right lanes are a little slow. North of Butler Hill, it's on the brakes again. Pretty solid at this point from the Union Road overpass up to Road Repair, but it remains slow up through Virginia. And on the Illinois side, starting to see a little bit of a slowdown on westbound Highway 64 through 159.3. Southbound a little back up at Queenie. Northbound doesn't look as bad headed through that area. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Summer's here. Is your backyard ready? If you missed the spring rush, Artistic Decks can still make it happen. From premium wood to maintenance-free composite, get the quality you deserve. Don't wait. Call Artistic Decks today at 314-280-0821.
6:41. Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. Looking out the windows here at Studio B, it looks like a very lovely morning, but I know from experience, I used my seat warmers this morning on the way in.
It's cold this morning. I have a hoodie here this morning because it is that chilly. Temperature started out in the low 40s, and we're still there at this hour, but the sun is up, and it will warm things up to a degree. We'll get to 68. Look for an increase in clouds this afternoon, and a weak little front comes through the area tonight, and with it, clouds and a couple of showers, followed by some late night clearing. By morning, we're in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, I think it's cooler, only 61. Not a great start to the month of May, temperature-wise, with sun and clouds. Our high only 61. Another cool day Saturday with clouds and sun. Could be a pop-up shower or two, the high only 60. Then it reverses course, and we get warmer on Monday Sunday with more sunshine. We get to 74. Clouds and sun Monday. Could be an afternoon thunderstorm, the high 76. 41 right now at St. Peter's, 44 in Florissant, mostly sunny, 46 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 6:42, and the news continues on KMOX. Former FBI Director James Comey making his first court appearance after being indicted on charges tied to a social media post prosecutors say amounted to a threat against President Trump. Comey has not entered a plea. A judge declined to impose restrictions on his release. CBS News Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen was in the courtroom.
What if James Comey was a true threat to the president, as any other normal person would be if they posted something similar online? The FBI or Secret Service would go to that person's door, investigate them, and then the charges would be filed imminently because it would be seen as an imminent threat to the president's life. Taking a year almost to bring these charges against the former FBI director, this prosecutor said, is unusual and really undercuts the Department of Justice's case.
The Supreme Court has weakened a key tool of the Voting Rights Act that helped combat racial discrimination in voting for more than 50 years. The court's conservative majority finding that a black majority congressional district in Louisiana relied too heavily on race. That ruling could allow Republican states to eliminate black and Latino electoral districts that tend to favor Democrats.
The court held that Louisiana lawmakers improperly used race as a primary factor when drawing a second majority-minority district out of the state's 6 congressional seats. Congressman Troy Carter fears far-reaching consequences from the opinion.
When a new map is drawn, it could very well be drawn where there's no African-American representation. And that would, in fact, include my district.
State Senator Royce DePlessis says as Louisiana leaders consider where to go from here.
That's WWL's reporter Paul Murphy. A new report from Reporters Without Borders finds that press freedom is now at its lowest point worldwide since the group started tracking it. Clayton Weimers is the group's North America director. He says the United States has now dropped to its all-time low, 64th out of 180 countries when it comes to press freedom.
That's pretty concerning for a country that prides itself on the First Amendment. It's fallen 7 places on the 2026 index.
The legal indicator is what fell the most in this index, meaning the legal conditions are deteriorating worldwide for journalists. Taylor Swift's just sealed her fate as a billion-dollar artist, and she's making sure others get their due as well.
A non-negotiable clause in Swift's 2018 contract with Universal Music stated that if the company sold any Spotify shares, its artists would be compensated. That clause is set to take effect as UMG prepares to sell about half of its stake in Spotify. Pop star pulled her catalog from the streaming service in 2014 over low payouts, but returned it 2 years later. Last week, Spotify named her the most globally streamed artist of all time. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, Growing Gardens, Making Memories. Folks, the Cardinals are hot, and you know they are. You know things are going their way when they play a dramatic contest back and forth, and the Pirates chipping away and putting a runner on in the 9th inning, and this happens.
The Pirates down to their last out. Tying run at first, winning run at the plate, a swing and a high fly ball. That's hit to deep left field. Church back at the wall. He jumps. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner up against the wall. Nathan Church was able to keep that in the park. And the Cardinals have won 3 in a row in Pittsburgh, winning tonight 5-4.
One of the plays of the year as the Cardinals get the victory 5-4. A tremendous catch by Nathan Church over the wall to rob a home run. And the Cardinals win the ball game. They get RBIs out of Herrera, Burleson, and Walker. Weatherholt as well. They built themselves a 5-1 lead, only to see that start to melt away. It was 5-4. The bullpen was a bit leaky. Ryan Stanek gave up 2 runs. George Soriano gave up a run, but this was after an outstanding start by the Redbirds starter, Matt Pauley.
Andre Palante has arguably his best start of the year, pitching the Cardinals to a 5-4 win over the Pirates. Palante goes 6 innings, allowing just 1 run. Manager Oliver Marmol really likes what his team got from their starter.
Really nice job there. The fastball played well, broke some bats. Curveball, continued to throw it even if he wasn't laying in it. He was trying to get it there. So the slider was a good pitch, but just overall, gave us a really good look at it today. No walks. Solid job.
The 6 innings is a season high for Palante. He also strikes out 6, giving him 19 strikeouts over his last 3 starts, covering 16 in a third innings. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
And folks, if you haven't been to a Cardinals game yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. They're 17-13. They're 2 games out in the division, and they host the Dodgers this weekend, starting tomorrow. 11:35 game today for the Cardinals. That's right, an early one, 10:40 pregame. The Cardinals going for the 4-game sweep against the Pirates. Hunter Dobbins making his Cardinals debut. He'll be opposing Paul Skeens. To soccer.
St. Louis City SC is moving on in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup after a 2-1 win over the Chicago Fire in the round of 16 Wednesday night. Chicago opened the scoring in the 63rd minute, but City responded just 8 minutes later, capitalizing on a defensive mistake, with Thomas Totland finishing the equalizer after a sequence involving Sergio Cordova, Edward Leuven, and Marcel Hartl. Then in the 78th minute, City struck again, Hartl sending Mekhi Joyner down the left to the end line to deliver a ball back at the 6 for a stunning Edward Leuven finish. Head coach Juan Demey says it came down to the group embracing the kind of game it was.
The grit and the spirit they're showing, we haven't been rewarded enough in my sense to come back, get the win, move on to the next round. That is very good. It's about the grind. It's about hard work. It's about staying in the game and making plays.
City will advance to the Open Cup quarterfinals mid-May. In the meantime, the team returns to MLS play this Sunday on the road against Austin FC. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Let's shop for some mulch. St. Louis Composting, Growing Gardens, Making Memories. Mulch is a decorative and protective cover placed over soil to conserve moisture, inhibit weed growth, and to lessen damage to plants caused by extreme temperatures. And they have all different kinds of mulch at St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com. You can get the oak bark mulch. That is a premium natural mulch. You can go with natural. You can go with leaf mulch. They also have forest fines and black forest mulch, screened chips, color-enhanced mulches. We went with the color-enhanced dark walnut mulch. Looks really cool. Pine bark and cedar mulch. They even have certified playground mulch at St. Louis Composting. For your job site or your home, go to stlcompost.com. One of many offerings, soil and compost as well, that St. Louis Composting has online. They have a cubic yard calculator too, so you can find out how much you need. Very easy to do. Or you can go to any of their 9 retail locations. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at woastl.org. For more information, go to kmox.com/events.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
6:51, and it's time for another check of traffic and weather. We start with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're slow, Debbie, on eastbound 70 out in the Wentzville area right now. This traffic reports a service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Slow from about David Hochul Parkway into Wentzville Parkway. It's a little slow. 64 into A. After that, it's not so bad. Southbound 61 from Highway P down onto 64 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's a few slow spots. It's also a little slow now through Hanley and Big Bend after that in the Richmond Heights area. Southbound 270 south of Olive through Ladouce. Busy. North 270 approaching Tesson Ferry, Sappington up to 44, and Doherty Ferry to Manchester. Some slow spots. Looks like they cleared the crash on eastbound 30 at Little Brennan. It's opening up at the front end, but still a jam as you approach Dillon Road. So more of a jam than it is anything else, but it'll continue to improve. Northbound 55. North of Richardson up to the Merrimack's Bog down. You're backed up from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear remains heavy up through Virginia after that. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Sunshine mixing with clouds today, high 68. Mostly cloudy tonight, couple of showers early, then some clearing late, low 45. Tomorrow, times of sun and clouds. Quite cool for early May, says Joe Lundberg, a high of 61. It's 44 right now.
St. Louis is now ranked second in the nation for the highest growth in construction jobs. The region had a 6% increase in construction jobs between February of last year and this, totaling about 4,700 positions. Only the Houston area had more at 11,000.
Well, the good news, St. Louis area saw some of the highest construction job growth in the nation last year. The bad news, gridlock in Congress threatened that progress. That's according to the Associated General Contractors of America, which has announced a new ad campaign called America's Moving Forward to push Congress to pass a new transportation bill.
Ken Simonson said many of the new construction jobs are tied to highway construction projects like the expansion of I-70. He spoke during a news conference in Forest Park yesterday that highlighted the work on the $100 million Glade project and Steinberg ice rink overhaul. Simonson said it's hard to see how that job growth could continue without a transportation bill.
200 more vacant and tornado-damaged buildings in St. Louis could be demolished. The city's Land Revitalization Authority approved a resolution yesterday to allow more properties that were damaged by last May's tornado to be demolished. The authority's director of real estate, Shelton Anderson, says this is phase 2 of the demolition plan that already took down several hundred buildings.
We have effectuated essentially targeting 307 demolitions.
242 which have been complete, 65 which are underway. And we've also included 344 properties that have been structurally evaluated.
Today's approval gives the city permission to demolish 200 of the additional 344 properties that have been evaluated.
Missouri's cannabis industry has a new legal fight on its hands. We get more from Michael Calhoun.
The suit claims the company Good Day Farm used a web of separate LLCs to control at least 61 dispensaries operating under 5 different brand names that effectively circumvents Missouri's law prohibiting any single entity from controlling more than 10% of the state's dispensary licenses. Independent cannabis wholesalers say they've been squeezed out, forced to accept below market prices or lose access to a huge chunk of the retail market. Good Day Farm has not commented.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
One of the greatest players in basketball history, Isaiah Thomas, is 65 today. Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, she is 41.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy 82nd birthday to Trish Unterberg in Kirkwood. Happy 32nd wedding anniversary to Lisa and Jerry Ornelas of Baldwin. That's from your family. Georgianne Hancock is celebrating a birthday, and so is Stacy Sontag.
This is the best birthday ever.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the original Overhead Door. This is the last day for the $5,000 sweepstakes, the last day to chime in. The $5,000 curb appeal giveaway, they call it. Enter it to earn $5,000 towards a new garage door. Winner chosen at random from all entries. Contest ends today. No purchase necessary. Just go to overheaddoorstlouis.com. Overheaddoorstlouis.com. I'm looking at it right now. All you have to do is enter a little bit of information, and you are in the contest. Now, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is the trusted garage door expert and has been in St. Louis for years and years. They go back to 1926, 100 years. And one of the best things they do is same-day service 7 days a week on any brand of garage door. If your garage door sounds a little squeaky, or if you've been having problems with it going up and down, do not wait. Get Overhead Door Company of St. Louis over there. 314-781-5200. 314-781-5200. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Working hard but still falling behind? Learn how real estate investing can help you build income and move forward with purpose. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the Bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that Bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket, and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
It is 6:58. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have this jam. In fact, I just heard him say that I guess they're going to have the lane blocked for a little bit longer because they can't get the car out of the way. They need to wait for the tow truck. That's the crash eastbound 30 at Little Brennan. So we're still a solid jam back through Dillon Road, bumper to bumper through there. We had that same problem the other day when it was signal issues. We had that jam. Northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack's backed up. Right lane just slow at Butler Hill. Bayless up to River to Pear, but remains slow to Virginia. North 270, a couple of pockets as you ramp on from 55 through Gravois. After that, just right around 64 Ladue, it gets kind of busy. Eastbound 64, a little heavy, right through 170. Next update is 710 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny and 44 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news. The St. Louis Police Board's budget battle with Mayor Kara Spencer got personal yesterday. We will find out more at 7:04.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. Can living under constant threats of severe weather cause mental health issues? We'll hear more from KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunshine mixing with clouds today. The high 68. Look for a shower tonight.
That's hit to deep left field. Church back at the wall. He jumps. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. Up against the wall. Nathan Church was able to keep that in the park. And the Cardinals have won 3 in a row in Pittsburgh, winning tonight 5-4.
We'll have the story at 7:15.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
News on the hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Fuel prices have hit a fresh wartime high. Gasoline is at an average $4.30 a gallon nationwide this morning. In California, it's $6.01. For this food driver in Detroit,
it definitely sucks because I'm not making as much money doing this anymore because most of the money goes to gas.
Brent crude has surged too. Correspondent Nancy Cordes is at the White House.
Global oil prices climbed above $120 per barrel Wednesday, the highest since 2022. The Federal Reserve declined to lower interest rates Wednesday, with Chairman Jerome Powell citing the rising cost of gas.
When gas prices go up, that's disposable income coming out of people's pockets, so they're going to spend less on other things.
The California teacher accused of an assassination attempt on the president at Saturday's Correspondents' Dinner is set for a bail hearing today. CBS's Matt Gutman has details from Washington.
A selfie taken around 8:03 p.m. shows Cole Allen in a black dress shirt and red tie with a shoulder holster for a pistol, knives, ammunition, even pliers, according to a court document.
New information in a murder case involving the singer David, who's accused of killing 14-year-old Celeste Rivas to cover up his abuse. Correspondent Carter Evans is in Los Angeles.
According to the filing, prosecutors believe Celeste was upset about his relationship with other women, threatened to disclose their relationship to end his career and destroy his life.
Rivas' mutilated remains were found in the singer's Tesla. The nation's tech giants are spending record amounts on artificial intelligence.
In their first quarter earnings reports, Meta, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft said they spent a combined $131 billion on capital expenditures, mostly on the data centers that power AI. That was a 71% increase from the same quarter last year. On his earnings call, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg said AI will drive human progress.
I believe that they're going to be some of the most important and valuable products of all time.
Last week, Meta announced 8,000 layoffs as it spends more on AI. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A plane and a drone got a little too close for comfort.
I believe I just saw like a red small object about 1,000 feet below us to our right.
The pilot of a Delta flight on ATC.com as the jet prepared to touch down in San Diego. CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
There were initial reports about a potential collision, but it now appears the suspected drone likely passed below the plane. Drones are not supposed to fly above 400 feet, so it should not have been anywhere near an airliner descending to land, but it does happen.
Plane landed safely. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning. This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas.
At 7:04, we have a sunny sky and 44 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman alongside Debbie Monterrey, and these are the stories making news.
Well, if you have been waiting for something in the mail or wondering why someone didn't receive something you sent, we may have a surprising answer for you. A giant pile of mail, undelivered mail, was found in a vacant lot in North St. Louis. The Postal Service is currently investigating how it got there, and they're coming up with plans to deliver the mail. It looks like it may have been there for a while. The pile includes, of course, bills and things and addresses all over St. Louis City and county.
The fight between the city's mayor and its state-controlled police board heated up again yesterday, this time over $5 million in unspent funds. Among the board's requests to spend the leftover cash on a sound barrier at the South City gun range that's been generating noise complaints from neighbors. Here's board president Chris Saraceno.
With regards to the very important matter of the firing range, which we saw that was been a big thing within the community of the noise being handled there. That is a very important project that needs to get completed, correct? And that's at about $1.5 million cost, correct?
Yes.
Mayor Spencer didn't necessarily object to the spending outcomes, but she did object, as she has in meetings over and over, to only getting the paperwork the night before.
I would also ask that we have more than 12 hours to review contracts, particularly if those 12 hours are sleeping hours.
I agree.
A Farmington police officer is now on leave after facing sexual assault allegations. Farmington Police Chief Chris Bullock says he got the complaint in late March. The unnamed officer, he says, will remain on leave until an investigation is completed. In a statement released yesterday, Bullock said the officer was not a paid city employee at the time of the allegation, which dates back to June of 2016.
11 students were injured after a school bus overturned in Carrollton, Illinois. The crash happened around 3:45 yesterday afternoon on Highway 67. Police say a car going the opposite direction crossed over the center line. The Green School District bus driver drove onto the shoulder to avoid the car, and that car flipped. 11 students and a staff member were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Missouri could soon raise the speed limit on rural interstates and highways to 75 miles per hour. Chuck Farmer with the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety is not a fan of the measure.
First thing that happens is people go faster.
As in faster than the posted speed limit. Typically, he says people will go 5 to 10 miles faster. Proponents say it'll bring Missouri in line with other states and improve traffic flow.
Along with the advantages, you have to consider if you're going faster. Eventually, you or some driver is going to make a mistake. The faster you're going, the more serious it's going to be, the more likely somebody could end up dying.
The Missouri Department of Transportation is not on board with this either. There is a bill in the House that would have MoDOT do a study first.
An $81 million renovation is underway at one of downtown's most recognizable buildings. Michael Calhoun has more.
Midas Hospitality has begun work on the historic Edison Brothers building at 14th and Chestnut. Plans are to reopen it as the Sheraton St. Louis downtown in fall 2027. The project includes 284 updated hotel rooms, new meeting and event space on the top floor, and a rooftop deck. Central to the project is the restoration of the building's landmark realistic mural, a three-sided painting depicting scenes from the 1904 World's Fair, originally created by artist Richard Haas in 1984. Haas himself is being brought back to restore it.
From the KMOX Business Desk, Bed Bath & Beyond is back, but in a new container. The Container Store was recently purchased out of bankruptcy and has launched a store-changing event to integrate Bed Bath & Beyond into its 98 locations, including the one in Brentwood. There once were 6 Bed Bath & Beyond locations in St. Louis until the store's 2023 bankruptcy filing when they all closed. Meanwhile, the Container Store is liquidating about a third of its inventory to make space.
It's 7:08, traffic and weather next.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to ready.com. REDY.com. Because on Ready, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent, with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 888-525-REDY. 888-525-READY.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. Let's take a look at the roadways. Grab the sunglasses on your way out the door this morning. Weather on the way after we check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a minor crash on southbound 170, Debbie, just past the Parkway left lane. So there's a little heavy traffic coming down from Ladue. After that, it's just slow ramping on to eastbound 64. If you're coming in from out west, eastbound Highway 70, east of David Hochul Parkway into Wentzville Parkway, slow. There's a slowdown approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard at Bryan Road, a little busy as well. Southbound 61 north of Wentzville Parkway to 64 is slow. This traffic reports a service of I-3 broadband, and then after that, once you get on to 64 there, out of St. Charles County, it's not bad. It's just a little slow at the Interbelt. North 270, that's not bad. There's a couple of slowdowns north of 55 up to about the Sappington Road overpass, then Clayton Road overpass up to 64, the busiest part. Northbound 55, that's heavy. North of Richardson up to the Merrimack, south of Butler Hill to Mattis, the right lanes, all lanes backed up from Union Road overpass up to Weber, but it remains slow past Virginia. We still have a bit of a jam eastbound 30 Dillon Road into Little Brennan because of an earlier crash. And on the Illinois side, it's a little slowdown now, westbound 64 passing 159. Spring is here. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're springing forward with our longest price guarantees ever on our Geek Speed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunshine mixing with clouds today, our high 68. It'll be mostly cloudy for a while tonight with a couple of showers, followed by late night clearing, low 45. Tomorrow, times of sun and clouds, but quite cool for early May, the high 61. Remaining quite cool Saturday with clouds and sun and a passing shower or two, the high only near 60. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it's 44 in Florissant, 44 in St. Peter's, sunny and 45 downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:13. An eyesore downtown is one step closer to coming down, but maybe some other properties as well. The Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority's board voted this week to allow demolition of the old Railway Exchange parking garage on Olive. But they added an amendment that would allow for demolition of any structure on that block, with the exception of the historic Gill building that's attached to the corner of that parking ramp.
The plan now moves to the city's planning commission, according to the Business Journal. The city has acquired about 10 properties, including the former Charlie Gito's, but not the Railway Exchange building itself. They are still paying to secure it because people keep breaking in.
The buildup before Monday's storms has some people asking whether it was overkill. Washington University public health professor Salma Abdallah studied the mental health impacts of traumatic weather events. She says some people suffer from depression and PTSD years after a severe weather disaster.
So I am increasingly worried that increasing warnings might have the same impact that we're seeing from exposure to social media, exposure to news. And that is something I think we need to be, A, researching more, but B, the government should be worried about more.
Abdallah says what does help storm victims is when basic needs are met immediately and recovery efforts happen quickly.
Even with many Missouri roads reopening after Monday's flooding, drivers are being urged not to let their guard down. Becky Almaroth tells Missouri Net as floodwaters recede, dangerous conditions can still be hiding beneath the surface.
We don't always know what's under the water before that water totally recedes. So that is the biggest concern. If you try to drive through the water without being able to see, the roadway might be gone.
Almaroth says even shallow-looking water can conceal washed-out pavement, making it safer for Missouri drivers to turn around rather than risk the unknown.
New data shows Missourians are using their phones less when driving. According to a AAA study from Cambridge Mobile Telematics, Missouri drivers are using their phones about 16% less since the passage of the hands-free law in July of 2023. That law prohibits drivers from doing anything that involves holding or watching their phone while driving, but does allow for hands-free devices.
This is John Rooney, and last night in Pittsburgh, the Cardinals had a 5-1 lead with a Weatherhold RBI in the third, a Burleson two-run homer in the fifth, a pair of runs in the seventh inning. But the Pirates scored on a Horwitz home run in the fifth inning, got two in the seventh, helped out by some walks, a run in the eighth to make it a one-run game. And the last play of the game decided it. The Pirates down to their last out. Tying run at first, winning run at the plate, a swing and a high fly ball. That's hit to deep left field. Church back at the wall. He jumps. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. Up against the wall. Nathan Church was able to keep that in the park. And the Cardinals have won 3 in a row in Pittsburgh, winning tonight 5-4. The Cardinals go for the sweep today. On the mound, making his Cardinal debut, Hunter Dobbins. He came over from Boston against Paul Skeens and will be on the air this morning at 10:40. 5-4 Cardinals last night. They've won 3 in a row.
Cut of the game from the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. To the field we go. Danny Wexelman, Cardinals TV with Yvonne Herrera.
You just gave a big hug to Dusty Blake. What does that mean to you to share a moment like that after a big win like this?
I mean, just we've been having so much better communication. I think we always on the same page of what we want to do. So it's been nice to have a great communication with him. Same with all the coaching staff. They've been great. We've been doing a great job out there, man. I'm so proud of these guys.
What's your reaction to Nathan Church's catch at the wall?
I mean, I was kind of, scared that double was going to go out. It's been such a good game. We've been playing hard, and, I thought maybe it was gone, but, we got Church back there that makes all those plays easy.
Let's stick with the pitching for a second, and starting with Andre Polante. What stood out about his performance tonight?
I would say, he's mixing really good, keeping hitters off his fastball because that's his best pitch. He's just been struggling when he falls behind, but today he did great. We got some good counts for strikeouts. We went for it, and he executed a good pitch. He's been dealing with a lot of stuff from last year, but he's putting numbers. He's pitched good almost every single time he's been out there. This guy worked hard, and the work is just paying off for him.
What makes Riley O'Brien so dangerous? He comes in, he's been so clutch.
I mean, his sinker, sweeper, cutter, they're all really good pitches. 20 inches horizontal this side, 20 inches the other way. I mean, I faced in spring training. I was like, bro, I do not want to face you again. Crush my hands. I'm glad we're in the same thing.
And then for you at the plate, you're able to do damage in a lot of different ways, get on base, make things happen. What's been working for you at the dish?
I mean, just for me, it's just being a team guy. I think early in the year, I was trying to force things, try to get hits. That didn't happen. So for me right now, it's just trying to do a little bit every day to help the team win. Just getting on base, running the bases hard, getting the guy over. That's what I've been trying to do. I've been walking a lot. That's nice. Like I put myself in a position so Brooklyn can bring me in, the guys after me. So they've been doing a great job with that. And just like I say, just do a little bit every day so we can win the games.
Well, we'll see if you guys can go for the mop-up tomorrow. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Fun stuff there. Danny Wexelman with Yvonne Herrera. Cardinal baseball this morning at 11:35. I'll have pregame at 10:40. City won, advancing in the U.S. Open Cup by beating the Chicago Fire 2-1 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It was a victory for the Montreal Canadiens at Tampa Bay, 3-2, to take a 3-2 series lead there. Philadelphia closed out Pittsburgh. Vegas went up 3-2 on Utah. In the NBA, the Houston Rockets and the Detroit Pistons kept their seasons alive, and Cleveland went up 3-2 in its series. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss? There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer. So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors, 636-441-7470, or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
If you are ready to sell your home and you want to sell it quickly and for top dollar, or you would like to find an agent that you can work with who understands what you're going through, which, of course, if you're like most people, you want to sell your home quickly for the most money, and you don't want to have to do all the work, right? You just want that stress off your shoulders. How about a written guarantee? An upfront guarantee in writing that your home will be sold. A lot of agents would just sort of laugh at that, but Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, she can put that in writing. In fact, she will even guarantee that she'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. Now, you know she sells a lot of homes because she's that confident. Find out what the difference is with Gloria Liu by giving her a call at 314-325-6888, or find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. She is Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's check traffic. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we got EMS on the scene now with this crash, southbound 170, just past the Forest Park Parkway. So it looks like they have at least the two left lanes shut down. Traffic's a solid jam back to about Delmar because of that one. A crash. Looks like it's in the right lane, eastbound 364, just before 94 Mugi. Not too much of a problem there. We have trouble in Wentzville, though. We have an overturned vehicle crash, southbound 61, just before you get to 64 and 70, right near Pittman. Southbound 61's a solid jam midway between P and Wentzville Parkway right now because of it. Eastbound Highway 70, David Hoagland, Wentzville Parkway slow. There's heavy traffic from Lake St. Louis through Bryan Road, right around T.R. Hughes and Cave Springs. If you're on northbound 270, backed up as you ramp on from 55, it's slow up to Gravois. Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladou's, kind of busy after that. Eastbound Highway 30, getting better, but there's still a jam from Dillon about midway into Little Brennan from the earlier crash. North 55, south of 141 to the Merrimack. The right lane's bogged down right around Butler Hill, and there's stop-and-go pockets from Bayless up through Virginia. Westbound 6450 through 159 is pretty heavy now. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Weather forecast, AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says it's a high of 68 today. Sunshine mixing with clouds, mostly cloudy tonight. A couple of showers, then some clearing late, low 45. Tomorrow, a little cooler, a high of just 61 and 60 for the high on Saturday. Currently, it's sunny and 45 degrees downtown at the Arch.
There will be something on the August ballot for St. Louis County voters that we're going to talk about with the executive director of the Municipal League of Greater St. Louis, and that is Pat Kelly. Let's talk about use taxes. What exactly, first of all, is the proposal that people will see?
So St. Louis County has put on the August 4th ballot an initiative to pass a countywide use tax, which is applying the local sales tax to internet purchases. We've been working with the county to put it on the ballot for several years.
There's going to be a lot of questions being put to voters about different taxes. Should we institute this tax? Should we repeal that tax? Are you concerned at all that people are going to start getting confused?
Yeah, I think that's always a concern. A big part of the use tax is really educating the voters on what it really means. One of the primary concerns over the years with having different cities pass a use tax has been that a lot of people think the use tax is a new tax, and it's not. It's really applying that local sales tax that they've been paying locally for years to these out-of-state purchases. Because 20 years ago, people weren't purchasing their 50-pound bag of dog food on the internet. They were going down to the local store and purchasing that. But today, people are having that delivered from their house by out-of-state vendors. And so what that's done to local communities is actually reduce their income. Because on a national average right now, it's about 16 to 17% of all retail purchases are online.
So if I'm thinking about an internet purchase, I know that most of the time it does apply a state tax, correct? But we're talking about a local tax in St. Louis County, not the state sales tax that gets applied.
That's exactly right. The state has had a use tax or a tax on internet purchases since the early 90s when it was first available. What changed was a federal lawsuit, the Wayfair Act in 1920, which allowed for retail purchases to be taxed consistently. And so that's when a lot of the cities in St. Louis County put it on the ballot. Currently, 54 of the 87 municipalities have a use tax in St. Louis County. So those residents have passed their local sales tax, but now we're trying to pass that countywide. One of the reasons for that is because, one, the municipalities share in some of that sales tax, but also the zoo receives a portion of that sales tax. Great Rivers Greenway will receive a portion of that sales tax, as well as the St. Louis County Communication Center, which are all those taxes are all collected by St. Louis County and then distributed to these entities. So it will be a benefit to really a lot of communities throughout the St. Louis County and other entities, like I said, the zoo and Great Rivers Greenway.
So what would you say to people who say, well, I'm saving money right now because this tax isn't applied, so why would I want this?
Well, really, the voters approved those taxes locally years ago. And the reason I would ask them to support it is because when they are doing those purchases, they are saving money, but that's reducing budgets for local services. And this is, the municipalities and the county, we're the ones providing those day-to-day services, public works, police, fire, parks departments, those kinds of things. And we need those revenues. And as internet sales increase, local revenues are decreasing. And so we need to modernize our tax system to take advantage of those conveniences for those consumers. I really think that this really comes down to leadership. I think the elected officials have to come out and say why this is important for St. Louis County and try to educate the voters on why they need it. I mean, obviously, St. Louis County is having financial problems. This would solve that problem. We estimate that in the first year, St. Louis County would benefit at about $70 million a year. And currently they have a $40 million deficit. The other thing is part of the use tax that would actually increase that number is, and we don't know the number because they've never been taxed locally before, is the commercial purchases. So when businesses today in St. Louis County purchase out of state, they're not paying any sales tax. That'll be a whole new source of revenue for St. Louis County. And that number can be as big as the retail side of it.
All right. Pat Kelly is the executive director of the St. Louis Municipal League. Thanks so much for coming in and talking to us about this issue.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Debbie.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. AirMethod.com. Why would life-saving care require a membership? In a real emergency, are you reaching for your wallet or your phone to call 911? And what if the member helicopter isn't the closest one? What if they don't carry blood on board? What if those differences matter? They do. Arch Air Medical Service is proud to serve Effingham and surrounding communities with life-saving air medical care. Our highly trained crews deliver advanced medicine in the air because when seconds count, capability matters more than a card in your wallet. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. Worried about cost? Here's the truth. The No Surprises Act protects patients with private insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You'll only pay your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. If you have Medicare or Medicaid, similar protections apply. Providers cannot bill beyond those limits. That means no air medical membership is needed. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
It is 7:30, and right now we've got tons of sunshine in downtown St. Louis. It's 45 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman, and we do have some slowdowns, Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we got a few crashes out there, Tom. EMS just left the scene, but they still have the left lane shut down for the one here, South 170, just south of the Parkway. It's a solid jam back near Olive. Looks like we have either a stall or a minor crash eastbound 44 near Mirage. Traffic's backed up at about Bowles because of that one. St. Charles County dealing with a couple. We have that overturned vehicle crash on southbound 61. First of all, southbound 61 has a backup from the Big Creek down to W. It looks like there may be a problem there, and then it's a jam again from Highway P all the way down through Pittman just before 64. That's an overturned vehicle wreck there. Eastbound Highway 70, David Hochul Parkway into 64 slow. East of K to 79, there's a slowdown, Mid-Rivers to Spencer, east of 370 through Cave Springs, a couple of busy spots. Eastbound 364, EMS just showed up on the scene with this crash before 94 Mugi. Right lane's blocked, traffic's jammed back through Junk Station, it looks like right now. Eastbound 64, you've got heavy traffic coming out of the valley. There's slow stuff east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley busy. North 270, 55 to Gravois and Big Bend up to Ladue is slow. 55 still a little heavy. 141 to the Merrimack. The right lane south of Butler Hill to 270. Stop and go pockets. Union Road up through Holly Hills. And westbound 6450 through 159, you've got delays. Next update at 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is going to be sunny and 68 degrees. Cooler tomorrow with sun and clouds and a high of 61. For Saturday, we might see a passing shower or two with a high near 60, but then it does warm back up into about the mid-70s for Sunday and Monday. It's 45 out there right now.
Well, if you live in North St. Louis or North County and you've been missing mail, this might be why. A large pile of undelivered mail has been found in a vacant North St. Louis lot. The Postal Service is investigating how it got there and coming up with plans to deliver the mail. The pile includes bills, even an insurance card for addresses all over St. Louis City, some as far away as Ferguson.
The legal standoff between St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer and the state-controlled police board's attorney got unusually blunt, with neither side willing to budge.
I have no doubt.
You're
So is my
100%
team.
sure that we can do this?
Yeah. Yes.
But
And
again,
as you are 100% sure that we can't do it, I'm sure we can. So
I did not, you didn't,
can we agree to disagree?
Mr. Grabil, this isn't about agreeing to disagree. This is about a legal procedure.
At the heart of the dispute, whether $5.3 million in unspent police funds revert back to the city at the end of the fiscal year, or whether the board can still direct how it's spent. Spencer says it's a matter of legal procedure. The board says the money was already appropriated and theirs to use. It'll be sorted out next at the Board of Estimate and Apportionment.
The Department of Homeland Security arrested 8 St. Louis men on gun and cocaine trafficking charges. Investigators seized 7 pistols and 5 AR-style guns when taking the men into custody yesterday. The men ranged between 21 and 29 years old and lived in the city, the county, Eureka, and Maryland Heights. 6 of the 8 men are accused of entering the country illegally.
Missouri's cannabis industry has a new legal fight on its hands. We get more from KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
The suit claims the company Good Day Farm used a web of separate LLCs to control at least 61 dispensaries operating under 5 different brand names that effectively circumvents Missouri's law prohibiting any single entity from controlling more than 10% of the state's dispensary licenses. Independent cannabis wholesalers say they've been squeezed out, forced to accept below market prices or lose access to a huge chunk of the retail market. Good Day Farm has not commented.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your Money Minute next.
It's not really a sports show. It's just a show.
So I don't really have a sports show, but I love the Cardinals. I am born and bred St. Louis, went to my first game like so many of you, 4 years old. Couldn't believe how green it was standing there next to the players with my dad. And now I go with my kids. You get it. So when you listen to the DGS, it's going to be a slice of life happy hour, but we're always going to talk Cardinals.
The Dave Glover Show at 1. Then stick around for Cardinals baseball.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers, not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I went to Staples for a custom printed graduation banner and invites and saw that Party City is now at Staples.
Wait, what?
Party City is now at Staples.
So now Staples has balloons?
Yep.
Decorations?
Yes.
Streamers, cups, table covers?
Yep, Staples has everything for a party. And now buy 2 get 1 free on select foil balloons.
Holy confetti! So the best parties start at Staples.
That was easy.
In 613 select stores, exclusions apply. In-store or buy online. Pick up in-store only.
It's time to spring into deals for Mother's Day at Lowe's. Shop select 1.5-gallon annuals hanging baskets, 2 for $15, and get Mom the perfect addition for her garden for less. Plus, get 3 free bags of Miracle-Gro 0.75 cubic foot garden soil when you buy 3. Mom's garden is winning with these deals. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6, excludes Alaska and Hawaii, while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
It is 7:36. We'll get you traffic and weather here in 4 minutes. But first, we want to get you your Bloomberg Money Minute. It is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Wingstop says the war in Iran is straining household budgets to a point where consumers can no longer afford to buy chicken wings. The fast food chain says rapidly rising gas prices are stressing the balance sheet of lower-income diners. As a result, Wingstop cut its full-year financial outlook. The company says it's trying to attract more higher-income folks to try its food. Speaking of gas, the price at the pump nationally, $4.30 a gallon as the conflict continues in the Middle East. 1 year ago, it was $3.18, according to AAA. By the way, California has topped $6 a gallon. California's product supply is more challenging than for the rest of the country. No pipelines carry fuels into the state from the Gulf Coast. Checking on the markets, technology in focus. S&P and NASDAQ futures are edging higher. Shares of Google parent Alphabet rallying in early trading after the tech giant's earnings topped Wall Street expectations. The company seeing a clear payoff from its spending on AI. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. UC Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Don't miss the Route 66 Centennial Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Bring back memories of the Mother Road's stunning natural scenery and roadside attractions, and explore its complex history and impacts on communities across the region. Featuring a concert by Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, food trucks, lectures, kids crafts, and more. All activities are free. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Summer's here. Is your backyard ready? If you missed the spring rush, Artistic Decks can still make it happen. From premium wood to maintenance-free composite, get the quality you deserve. Don't wait. Call Artistic Decks today at 314-280-0821.
Looking for a career change? Well, the Gelman team with eXp Realty is hiring. Their unmatched blueprint to success, real support, and proven systems help agents take their business to the next level. Level up your future and earning potential. Take the first step at thegelmanteam.com.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is 7:40 and time for traffic and weather, starting with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a jam on southbound 170 right now, Debbie, beginning at Olive. This traffic reports the service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. It runs down through Brentwood Boulevard. It really pockets all the way down to the U-Club Tower. We had that crash before Brentwood in the left lanes, but now it looks like there's an incident closer to 64 in the right lane there. Westbound 64 to the Science Center headed out to Big Bend is heavy. If you're on eastbound 64, you've got delays from Boone's Crossing through Clarkson almost to Timberlake, a slowdown east of Lindbergh, and then at the Interbelt. Out west, coming south on 61, we have that overturned vehicle crash before you get to 64 and 70. Solid jam back past Highway P. Eastbound 70, David Hochland to Wentzville Parkway, approaching K to TR Hughes. Mid-Rivers into Cave Springs, there's busy traffic. 364, the right lane's blocked by that crash before the 94 Mugi exit. Traffic's jammed back to Youngerman. Northbound 270 delays as you ramp on from 55 all the way to Ladue. South 270 approaching Olive to Ladue. Eastbound 44, 141 to the Merrimack due to an earlier incident. Northbound 55 busy in the right lanes at Butler Hill, Union Road overpass up through Holly Hills, Virginia, and westbound 64 at Jam 50 through 159. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
I think we've hit an algorithm on YouTube. I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, new people chiming in the comments like, wait, is this KMOX in St. Louis? Someone just said that. Like, whoa, that just popped up on my device. That's good. We like that. You can follow us, YouTube, Facebook, X. We're all over the place. Joe Lundberg has a good forecast for you from the AccuWeather office. Don't you, Joe?
I do indeed, and it's going to be cool for the next couple of days, really for the next 3 days before we get some warming Sunday and Monday. Today, sunshine now will mix with clouds this afternoon. We'll get to 68. There's a disturbance that'll dart through the area early tonight, and with it, cloud and a couple of showers. And then they go away, and by morning, we're starting to clear with a low in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, a partly sunny day, but it'll be very cool for the first day of May. Our high only 61. Normal high, by the way, should be about 73. Put it in perspective, we'll be near 60 Saturday with clouds and sun, and there could be a pop-up shower. So not exactly the best start to the weekend weather-wise, but it gets better for Sunday. More sunshine, warmer, the high 74, mid-70s on Monday with clouds and sun and perhaps an afternoon thunderstorm. Kind of chilly this morning, 43 at St. Peter's, 49 in Florissant, mostly sunny, 48 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 7:43. New details are coming out about the man accused of trying to kill the president. CBS News chief correspondent Matt Gutman says the suspect, Cole Allen, took a selfie minutes before the shooting, and it shows him heavily armed.
Images obtained by the Washington Post showed the suspect hunched as he allegedly fired one blast from his shotgun. The uniformed Secret Service agent quickly pulls his weapon and begins to fire. The Secret Service says that agent fired 5 times, but hit neither the suspect nor the officer standing in the line of fire. The suspect then stumbled and fell unharmed.
Reacting to the Supreme Court weakening the voting rights bill and ruling a Democratic-held congressional seat in Louisiana was drawn with too much focus on race, Republicans there may rush to create more to their liking maps.
Early voting in Louisiana's May 16 primaries is set to begin on Saturday, with filing deadlines passed and ballots ready to go. But the Washington Post is reporting that Republican Governor Jeff Landry told his party's congressional candidates he's planning to suspend the primary election so a new congressional map can be drawn up that will presumably eliminate at least one of the 2 black majority districts and cost Democrats a seat. Michael Toscano, CBS News.
One of the aircraft carriers in the Middle East will soon be heading home.
The USS Gerald R. Ford and its 4,500 sailors have been deployed for 10 months, a record for a modern U.S. aircraft carrier. It needs repairs after a laundry room fire. During a House hearing yesterday, California Democrat and Navy veteran Gil Cisneros warned the Ford's needs could hurt the readiness of other warships.
It's going to have ramifications down the road extending for this much.
The Ford is expected to return to Norfolk, Virginia in mid-May, reducing the U.S.'s firepower in the Middle East. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. Let's talk a little Cardinal baseball. If you've been following along by now, you know that no game is safe when the Cardinals are playing, whether they're trailing or, unfortunately, when they're leading. Things can get a little crazy, and they did again last night. The Cardinals scored a run in the third, 2 in the fifth. They had a 3-1 lead. They scored 2 in the seventh, some really nice insurance runs to increase their lead to 5-1. The problem is the Pirates were chipping away at this Cardinal bullpen. Here we go, 7th inning.
There's a swing and a line drive into center field. That's going to get down for a hit. That's going to score 2 runs. The throw comes into second base, and the Pirates are back in this ball game as Nick York delivers a base hit into right center. It scores both Connor Griffith and Joey Bart.
2 runs charged to Ryan Stanek, who replaced Andre Palante. Palante had a really nice game. He allowed just a run in 6 innings and recorded 6 strikeouts, didn't walk anyone. But the Cardinals now found themselves in a 5-3 ball game. We move you to the bottom of the 8th. The Cardinals are still up 5-3. George Soriano is in there after Jojo Romero closed out the 7th. Nick Gonzalez with a base hit. Spencer Horwitz drew a walk. Connor Griffin struck out, and here comes Jake Mangum. He reaches on a fielder's choice, and after O'Neill Cruz grounded into a force out, that scored a run. Gonzalez scores, and now it's 5-4. So who's going to finish this thing off? Of course, the answer to that is Riley O'Brien. Bottom of the 9th, O'Brien, the Cardinals closer. He gets a ground out to Brian Reynolds. Ryan O'Hearn then singles, and that sets up an opportunity for the Cardinals to try to save this thing. And Marcell Ozuna, a huge threat, as we know, we've seen him for many years, is standing there against O'Brien.
The pitch by Riley O'Brien. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a sweeper. 2 down.
But remember, there's a runner at first, and the batter is Nick Gonzalez. A home run would win this thing for the Pirates. Here it is.
The Pirates down to their last out. Tying run at first, winning run at the plate, a swing and a high fly ball. That's hit to deep left field. Church back at the wall. He jumps. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. Up against the wall. Nathan Church was able to keep that in the park. And the Cardinals have won 3 in a row in Pittsburgh, winning tonight 5-4.
Are you kidding me? It's a game-saving home run ball taken away by Nathan Church. And the Cardinals win the game, Chip Carey.
Well, Ollie, I've run out of words. I don't know how you would describe this one tonight.
Man, a lot to that one. Guys played hard, but again, they make it exciting and close. You look at what happened there in the later innings, and we just had trouble getting outs. And but Sawyer did a really nice job there. I'll back up, and JoJo in that spot against Ozuna gets that ground ball to third. Lefties keep him on the ground quite a bit, so he takes his shot there. Really nice job executing. And then Soriano made pitches, and even when we didn't make plays behind, man, he just continued to do his job. So that was awesome to see. Good reads there.
And the Cardinals find a way. They win it 5-4. They go for the 4-game sweep today. 11:35 for the first pitch for Paul Skeens. Hunter Dobbins is the Cardinals pitcher. I'll have the pregame at 10:40 on KMOX. City won up in Chicago to advance to the U.S. Open Cup, and Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbruck Resort, which is located just to our west, about an hour from where I'm sitting, and it is a fantastic place. Love Innsbruck, innsbruck-resort.com, innsbruck-resort.com. We're actually talking about which weekend this summer we want to hang at Innsbruck. I'd say multiple weekends if we can. It's always a great place. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to rent a place or have a vacation spot to play golf there. You can book a tee time and play golf anytime. It's a public golf course, and Kevin Korn will take your phone call. Just go to innsbruck-resort.com and look at their golf setup, 18-hole championship course. You are going to love it. It is Innsbruck, innsbruck-resort.com. Now for our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. In the NBA, I'm looking at the Knicks at Atlanta. The Knicks have a chance to close this series out with a win tonight. They're a 2.5-point favorite at Atlanta. I like them minus 2.5. And I'll give you a couple of others. Boston, they're going to be looking for revenge at Philadelphia. They got smoked in Game 5. Now this series is 3-2. Again, Boston can close this on the road. I actually do like them minus 6 at Philadelphia tonight. Denver and Minnesota, that one's interesting. I kind of like I like the fact that the Timberwolves have been playing tough without some players, and I will take them plus 5.5 on the road. It's our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports.
It's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:52, and here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our jam on eastbound 364 Debbie Youngerman up to almost 94 Mugi. That crash blocking the right lanes. Still the overturned vehicle crash, unfortunately. Southbound 61 just before you get down to 64 and 70. Traffic's jammed north of Highway P up to that one. Eastbound 70 David Hochul through Wensville Parkway slow. K through TR Hughes a little busy at Cave Springs. 5th Street all the way into the Rock Road. It's kind of slow. Eastbound 64, Annie Guns up through to about Timberlake, but then Mason in through Clayton Warson and around the Innerbelt heavy. There's pockets on South 170 Page down to 64 from earlier problems. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton out to Hanley's heavy. North 270, 55 all the way to Ladue. Slow 44 eastbound. Backed up through 141. That's just a little slow at Laclede Station. Northbound 55. The right lanes at Butler Hill. Union Road overpass up through Virginia on the brakes. Westbound 64, 50 through 159. It's jammed, and then it's slow. 3rd Street to the Poplar. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have a nice day today. Sun mixing with clouds, high 68. Some showers early tonight, then clearing, low 45. Tomorrow's high just 61 with sun and clouds. It's 47 right now.
The Loop Trolley reopens today, running along Delmar Boulevard. The trolley will be active from 11 to 7, Thursdays through Sundays until late October. This is the trolley's 4th consecutive season after temporarily closing in 2019 due to service issues and low amount of users.
Speaking of U-City, they'll get a new grocery store next Tuesday. A 75,000 square foot Dierberg's opening at 8680 Olive at the southeast corner of 170 and Olive. The grocery store is located across from a 4-year-old Costco, and a neighboring Target is set to open May 17th.
According to the Business Journal, that Dierberg should have more than 100 employees and will be open every day from 6 to 10. It's the chain's 28th location.
It's been nearly a year since the May 16th tornado that devastated neighborhoods in our region, and many homeowners and businesses aren't even close to rebuilding. Now we're in the midst of another stormy spring.
I have to be completely honest. I am worried about the mental health impact of what we're seeing right now.
Sama Abdallah is an assistant professor in the School of Public Health at Washington University in St. Louis. She previously studied the impact of Hurricane Harvey on residents of Houston.
If you don't have quick fixes to the problems people are facing, that most likely exacerbates the mental health issues that we expect to find even years after.
That includes depression and PTSD. And Abdallah points out it's not just people directly impacted by storms that are affected. The storm fatigue is felt across the community. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
200 more vacant and tornado-damaged buildings in St. Louis could be demolished. The Land Reutilization Authority approved a resolution Wednesday to allow more properties damaged by the tornado to be torn down.
Shelton Anderson is the authority's director of real estate and says this is phase 2 of the demolition plan that already took down several hundred buildings.
We have effectuated essentially targeting 307 demolitions, 242 which have been complete, 65 which are underway, and we've also included 344 properties that have been structurally evaluated.
And today's approval gives the city permission to demolish 200 of the additional 344 properties that have been evaluated.
The good news, the St. Louis area saw some of the highest construction job growth in the nation last year, actually second behind only Houston. The bad news, gridlock in Congress threatens that progress. That's according to the Associated General Contractors of America, which has announced a new ad campaign called America's Moving Forward, trying to push Congress to pass a new transportation bill.
Ken Simonson said many of the new construction jobs are tied to highway construction projects like the expansion of I-70. He spoke during a news conference in Forest Park yesterday that highlighted the work on the $100 million Glade project and Steinberg ice rink overhaul. Simonson says it's hard to see how that job growth could continue without a transportation bill.
Another major issue for them is the shortage of workers, so the number one item on their strategic plan is recruiting and training.
We'll check the highway transportation next. Roger Brand has traffic at 7:56.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Beauty and lush soundscapes as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe. 3 extraordinary pieces come to life, from Ravel's masterpiece to the world premiere of Nathalie Joachim's Family to Kevin Putz's evocative Virelai. Nearly 300 musicians, May 8th through 10th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it,
You don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're headed down the inner belt to southbound 170, you've got some slow traffic from about the Midland overpass running down through Page, and then south of Olive, it's heavy down to 64 due to earlier problems. Still working the injury crash eastbound 364 before 94 Mugi. Solid jam back through Youngerman. Good news, they cleared the overturned vehicle crash in southbound 61 before 70 64, but traffic's backed up about midway between W and P, midway down to Wensville Parkway. So it's getting better, but there's still a jam there. Northbound 270, there's still some slow pockets north of 55 to Gravois, 44 all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 64, you've got slow stuff approaching Clarkson toward Timberlake, and east of Spady, it's heavy through the inner belt. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Drivers are pulling up to the pump this morning to find gas prices at a new wartime high of an average $4.30 a gallon.
Looking at it now, I mean, that's actually insane. So, yeah, nothing I can really do about it, but it is pretty outrageous.
The price a full 27 cents higher than just a week ago. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Americans are absorbing another $80-$100 a month because of these higher prices.
The U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz continues. Oil prices up too. They're above $126 a barrel. Jet fuel costs are upping the chances Spirit may come in for a permanent landing soon.
CBS News has learned talks about a government-backed rescue of the airline have stalled. Some of Spirit's creditors refused to sign off on the deal. Spirit only has enough cash to continue operations for a few more days. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg says people with Spirit tickets should have a backup plan.
Buy a refundable ticket on a competing carrier on the same route. That way, if your Spirit flight goes okay, just refund the ticket. If your Spirit flight doesn't, you won't be worried about getting a seat home. You'll already have one.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The Commerce Department out with new numbers on the economy. It expanded at a modest pace of 2% in the first 3 months of the year as it recovered from the 43-day government shutdown. Core inflation hit 3.2% in March as prices rose 3.5%. And that's the biggest jump in almost 3 years. The House has approved a Senate-backed resolution to unlock funding for Homeland Security and ICE operations. Commandant Admiral Kevin Lunde warns the Coast Guard is running out of money to pay personnel. He tells CBS's Nicole Skanga.
Our crews are standing by to respond at a moment's notice to any mariner in distress or any threat to the nation. And they launch 24/7, 365, and suddenly the lights go out or they don't have water.
The Washington Post reports Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is getting ready to suspend his May primaries to give lawmakers time to redraw congressional maps after the Supreme Court struck down the creation of a majority Black congressional district.
The Supreme Court said it loud and clear that the current map is unconstitutional. What our options are, we're basically working our way through that, and I will be discussing those options with the Attorney General.
Lindsey Vonn just joined CBS Mornings with an update on her recovery after her disastrous crash just 13 seconds into her first event at the Winter Olympics.
Right now, my leg feels great. It's more that I just don't have energy or stamina. I was in the hospital bed for 2.5 weeks.
This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, April 30th. I'm Megan Lynch. If you've been missing mail, this might be why. A large pile of undelivered mail has been found in a vacant North St. Louis lot. The Postal Service is investigating how it got there and coming up with plans to deliver the mail. The pile includes bills, even an insurance card for addresses all over St. Louis City, some as far away as Ferguson. The buildup before Monday's storms has some people asking whether it was overkill. WashU public health professor Salma Abdallah has studied the mental health impacts of traumatic weather events. She says some people suffer from depression and PTSD years after a severe weather disaster.
So I am increasingly worried that increasing warnings might have the same impact that we're seeing from exposure to social media, exposure to news. And that is something I think we need to be, A, researching more, but B, the government should be worried about more.
Abdallah says what does help storm victims is when basic needs are met immediately and recovery efforts happen quickly. The state-controlled St. Louis Police Board's budget battle with Mayor Kara Spencer turned testy yesterday. The exchange got personal.
The lack of transparency and communication is unfortunate.
I'm going to the transparency, the accusations of this body of being non-transparent is not going to be allowed to be articulated in this particular situation.
Mr. Saraceno, I'm allowed to articulate whatever I'd like.
Board President Chris Saraceno pushed back.
This is not a lack of transparency or a lack of accountability.
It is, and I'm not going to be told what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say and what's not tolerated here at the Board of Police Commissioners.
I didn't say that you couldn't say it. I didn't say you could not say it.
The board voted to redirect $5.3 million in unspent funds toward tasers, a gun range, sound barrier, vehicles, and legal costs.
It might not be what looks to be the best at this point in time, but this team has worked very hard to try to get the necessary tools and resources within this budget to deliver for this department.
The request now goes to the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, although Mayor Spencer says she's not sure she could even bring it to a vote. Her argument is that unspent funds at the end of a fiscal year revert back to city reserves. She says the state board can't simply redirect that money toward new purchases like tasers that weren't already committed obligations. A Farmington police officer now on leave after facing sexual assault allegations. Farmington Chief of Police Chris Bullock says he received the complaint in late March. He says the unnamed officer will remain on leave until an investigation is complete. In a statement released yesterday, Bullock says the officer was not a paid city employee at the time of the allegation, which is from June of 2016. 11 students were injured after a school bus overturned in Carrolltown, Illinois. The crash happened around 3:45 yesterday afternoon on Highway 67. Police say a car going the opposite direction crossed over the center line. The Green School District bus driver drove onto the shoulder to avoid the car, hit a ditch, and flipped. 11 students and a staff member were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The speed limit in Missouri hasn't changed in several decades, but could soon see a boost to a 75-mile-per-hour speed limit on rural interstates and highways.
The faster you go, more likely you're going to have a serious crash.
That's Chuck Farmer with the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. He's not on board with raising speed limits, and neither is MoDOT. He says when the speed limit goes up, people just drive even faster.
What tends to happen is they just bump up to the next comfortable speed for them, which is 5-10 miles an hour above whatever the posted limit is.
The bill's sponsor says modern cars are safer. A higher limit would improve traffic flow. The bill has one more vote pending in the Missouri House. One of downtown St. Louis's most iconic buildings is getting a major makeover. Here's Michael Calhoun.
The artist who painted the giant mural that wraps three sides of the Edison Brothers building in downtown St. Louis is coming back to restore it. Richard Haas created the realistic artwork in 1984, depicting scenes from the 1904 World's Fair, including an image of King Louis IX on the south face of the building. His return is part of an $81 million renovation by Midas Hospitality, which plans to reopen the nearly century-old landmark as the Sheraton St. Louis downtown in fall 2027. The project includes a new rooftop deck that is one block from Enterprise Center.
From the KMOX business desk, University City is getting a new grocery store, a 75,000 square foot Deerberg's, opening Tuesday at 8680 Olive Road. That's at the southeast corner of Interstate 170 and Olive Boulevard. It will be located across from the Costco, and a neighboring Target is set to open May 17th. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's now 8:08.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection.
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mira Fiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mira Fiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, the news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
810 looks like 64 and 270 are busy this morning. Let's get an update on the roads from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, eastbound 64 is still kind of slow making out west Prospect toward Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's a little slowdown at Clarkson, Mason into 270, and then east of Ballas. It's just busy all the way in through about Big Bend. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley slow. South 170 a lot better, just kind of heavy Brentwood to 64. That's not bad. Southbound 270, 364 down to Olive is slow, then it picks up the pace. North 270 is slow down. Approaching Gravois from Sappington, and then north of 44, it's just off the pace all the way up to 64 Ladue, 44 Bowles to Miraz. There's a couple of spots approaching Big Bend through Laclede Station where it's just sort of off the pace. Northbound 55 still stop and go from Bayless all the way up through Virginia. Eastbound 70 coming into the city limits is heavy, and there's some slow traffic as well from the Blanchette into the Rock Road. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64, 50 through 159 is slow. Ball Avenue to the 70 split, and then just approaching the Poplar, a brief backup there. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunshine mixing with clouds today, the high 68. It'll be rather cloudy for a while tonight with a couple of showers passing through, followed by late night clearing, low 45. Times of sun and clouds tomorrow, but very cool, high 61. Quite cool again Saturday with clouds and sun and a brief shower or two, the high just 60. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have sunny skies this morning, 47 in Florissant, 44 in St. Peters, and 46 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. We recently told you about new funding for a preschool that's just for boys. It's actually part of a whole neighborhood revitalization effort that's focused on family. An early learning center and adult daycare already anchor the community. I met Cortega Collins, founder and executive director of the Foundation for Strengthening Families at Page and Hodemont.
We're looking at the future home of the Show Me Family Zone. It will be a 6-block initiative where we want to redevelop this area and create a space for families. It'll be a multi-generational program. So our plan is to extend from Page and Skinker, and we'll go east to Page and Hodemont, and a little bit south on the Amherst area as well. So what we have planned is some housing and our early childhood center, our adult daycare center, the Good Shepherd Academy for boys is a part of it. Also, we have a space where we want to provide safe care for children whose parents work non-traditional hours, because sometimes they don't have quality, developmentally appropriate options for their children. We want to fill that gap. We want to make sure that children are protected and nurtured throughout the entire day. Parents have to work. They have to go to school. They have to do what they need to do to support their children. And then we have essential workers, right? We have firemen, police officers, all those people who have families. They need a safe place for their children to attend as well.
I notice that all of this starts with the kids, because we just had that conversation about your preschool that's going to be specifically for boys.
Yes.
What do you think that will do for the community if you focus first on the kids?
I think that ensuring that those boys go to kindergarten prepared academically and social emotionally will put them on a great path. Will change the trajectory to where they go academically and career-wise. We all know the research behind the investment in early childhood, in investing in children at this early age in their life, right? And I believe that I've always said that investing in early childhood is a long-term solution to some of the crime, the dropout, because we know the research supports that children who don't have good academic outcomes, or who are not prepared for kindergarten, where their life has the potential to go when they're not prepared for school.
I noticed the family zone design includes a community center and revitalized housing. What are the housing needs for families right now?
The housing needs for families right now is so vast. It's such a vast need for housing right now, just because of the nature of the economy, the environment right now. You have more families that are living in the same spaces now, right? And going back to early childhood, children need stability. Though that's one of the things that will help them to thrive when they're in school, when they have a stable home life, when they know where they're going to sleep every night, when they have a yard that they can play in, when they have, some places they can count on.
So describe the housing that we see now here and what your vision is for the single family homes of the future here.
So we have a house right here within the family zone that's being renovated potentially for two single moms to share space, right? Because a single mom who's doing her best to raise her children, she needs a village. So why not have that shared space, right? So we'll have two single moms that are living in this beautiful, what will be this beautiful home, with like a house mom, staying on the house level to keep the systems in place for them. But this is I don't want to call it transitional, but it's more like a stabilizing home for the moms to live. Once they get on their own, they learn how to manage money. They learn how to prepare healthy meals. So it's not just giving them a place to live, but also giving them the tools to be able to be sustainable and live on their own, so that they can break cycles, right? And knowledge is everything. One of my favorite quotes, Nelson Mandela: education is one of the greatest tools we can use to change the world. So when we educate them and then give them exposure, right, to things that they had no prior knowledge about. We don't know what we don't know. And sometimes we raise our kids the way that we were raised, not that our parents had any nefarious intent on how they raised us. They knew what they knew. But sometimes there are different ways, not necessarily better. I don't want to say better to be judgmental, but there are different ways, different things that we can do to raise our children to improve the long-term outcomes.
How desperately does a neighborhood like this need a community center to have a place to gather?
I don't think that I can even quantify that. It is so necessary for this community. This community, it doesn't score very high. Well, where we are right now. So we're in the West End, and there are some pockets of the West End where they are well. But like, for instance, this area that we're in right here, there are very few high quality early childhood education facilities here in this area. And so we know that if they don't have access to high quality early childhood education, then they're going into a school system already with problems, right? And so that's so important for them to have. And then also for the children to have outlets, positive outlets, right? Even for our elderly community, for parents who, because we have multi-generations, right, living in the same space. Those more of my generation, we're taking care of our parents now. We need safe spaces for them so that we can go and continue to do what we need to do to provide for our families. So all of those things compounded help to build a stronger community, right? We need to kind of be more so unified to give us that strong foundation.
What's your timeline for all of this?
So our strategic plan is about a 10-year strategic plan. So we're doing it, progressively and we're in intervals. So the first one was the early childhood education facility. Then we opened the adult daycare, and now the Good Shepherd Academy for boys. And so the next one will be the two we plan to do together: the housing for the single moms and the non-traditional hours of care. Some of the other things are much bigger. We want to have, this is a food desert. We want to bring quality food to this community, right? We want to bring the community center to have a positive outlet for the children when they get out of school. After school programs, we know the research behind that, mentors and having access to those type of things. All of those things work in concert to build a stronger community. So our goal, our plan is for this pocket of the West End to be a hub for families, for children and families.
How much do you need financially to hit that 10-year mark? This 10-year design that you have for this recreated community?
We probably need upwards of about $10 million. At least $10 million. The Good Shepherd Academy for boys was $1 million by itself. The Early Childhood Center was $1.3 million by itself. So we overall, to bring this all to manifestation, we probably need about $10 million.
What would you say the payback will be?
Oh my gosh. The payback will be almost to the point where you can't even immeasurable. Because you're going to have in 10 years, you're going to have a generation of children who are prepared academically, who are going to eventually enter the workforce, who are going to contribute to the economy. You are going to have healthy and whole parents who are working together. You're going to have less trauma in homes, which will translate to less crime, less social services for the children, less trauma for children. You're going to have healthier people because you're no longer living in a food desert. You're going to have fresh grown food. You're going to have access to produce and healthy meats, and you're going to have education, not just that, education about how to eat well, how to manage your money well, so that you can purchase healthy foods. You're going to have longer lifespan. The people who are going to be benefit from the Show Me Family Zone, I'm convinced that their quality of life and the term of their life will be extended, direct result of this program.
That is Cortega Collins, founder and executive director of the Foundation for Strengthening Families. We need to head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center and see what the latest is on the roads. Roger Brand joins us now. Roger, how's it look?
Well, it's getting better, Megan. Southbound 61 just slow. Wentzville Parkway into 64 through Prospect, through Clarkson, Mason to 270, and Lindbergh through the Interbelt. South 270 approaching 364. Down to Ladue is slow. North 270 still a little busy at Gravois, and then 44 up to Ladue is heavy. 44 eastbound. East of Barry through Edgar looks like it's a little crowded. Northbound 55, Bayless up through Virginia. Eastbound 44 out onto westbound 70 downtown. There's a couple of slow spots. And westbound 64, 50 through 159 is still heavy. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. Coming up, it can't control your smartphone use. Julie Smith and I will talk about a device that turns your phone into a brick. First, though, let's check the forecast. Sunny, mixing with some clouds today, a high of 68. Cloudy early tonight. We may see a couple of showers, then clearing late with an overnight low of 45. We have sunny skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Gravois Bluffs. Come visit us now. Built to last? The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself and shop the latest in living rooms, bedrooms, and more. Visit Haverty's now in Gravois Bluffs.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, May 6th and May 7th. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Welcome back to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Do you want to limit your smartphone screen time? Well, now there's a device that's going to force you to do it. Let's talk about it with Julie Smith. Of course, she is our media expert. She's an instructor at Webster University, an author, and a public speaker. Good morning, Julie.
Hi, Megan.
So what is this device? It's called Brick.
Yeah, so it's a thing that you attach to like a wall. It's got a magnet so you can put it on your fridge too. And you set it up so that whenever you touch your phone to the brick, it will close off certain apps so that you can't have access to them. So it's a way to kind of limit your screen time. But it seems weird to me because I don't see how it's really all that different from turning your phone on to do not disturb or turning off notifications. The thing is that after you quote unquote brick your phone, then you have to unbrick it in order to have access to those apps. So I can see in some ways it might increase awareness of how much time you're spending on your phone, but I also don't see why you need to spend $60. It's a $59 purchase, but there's no subscription. So you just pay it one time. I don't see what the advantage is other than the limitations that the phone already has attached.
Does it speak to, however, our addiction to some of these apps?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I think it's important, especially when I talk to students, they always feel kind of guilty at how much they're on their phone. And what I tell them is like, you shouldn't feel guilty because these apps and these games are operating exactly the way they're designed. They are designed so that we never want to be off them. So I think we need to cut ourselves a little bit of slack there.
So, when we talk about the controls that are already in phones, how much of us are on such overload on our devices that we just can't even set those up? So why not have a device like this to make it easy for us?
Yeah, that's true. And there's something that they talk about with Brick is that you can set up certain Brick settings so that you can have, if you're going to go work out, for example, you can brick your phone so that only certain apps are available. Or if you're studying, you can also have, it's like a playlist almost of apps that you don't have access to during that time. And so I think in some ways that makes it easier, but it just seems like one more thing you have to do with your phone.
It's kind of sad. I mean, it's really kind of sad to think that we need something external to control what we're doing.
Yeah, we need more technology to control our use of technology.
All right. That is Julie Smith. She is an instructor and a media literacy expert joining us this morning here on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Ben Barnett. I'm a board-certified master arborist, and I've been caring for St. Louis trees for over 25 years. Today, I'm going to help you choose a tree care contractor. Here's how it's done, so pay close attention. First, call everyone you know who has ever done any type of outdoor work, including that cousin that used to sleep on your couch. Leave them all messages and wait around to see if they call back. Here's a hint, they won't. Now, post to all your social media that you are looking for recommendations for a good tree service. Now, beware because there will be hundreds of different recommendations. So you need to carefully go through each one, checking that they have the proper insurance, background checks, and even the slightest idea of what they're doing. Schedule a bunch of appointments, and when nobody shows up, get really frustrated and put the whole project off for another year. Or you could just call Timberline Professional Tree Care, 636-479-7475, or visit us online at stltreecare.com.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
8:30, time for another check of the roads. Roger Brand has the latest on the morning rush from the KMOX Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Megan, we still have slow going on 270. This traffic reports the service at McKelvey Homes. Northbound 270 north of Gravois is slow up to 44. Bumper to bumper there up to about Big Bend, but then off the pace all the way to Ladue. South 270 Dorset down through Olive is still pretty busy. Eastbound 64 coming out of the valley to Clarkson is slow. Mason to 270, east to Lindbergh in through to Big Bend. Westbound 64 Hampton to Big Bend's kind of busy, and Spady to Ballast after that. Northbound 55 Bayless up to River to Pear, still a backup there. Eastbound 44 out on the 70 past the Mutual Veterans is slow downtown. And westbound 64 50 past 159 is still busy. After that, just a brief slowdown at the Poplar. The McKelvey Home Spring Event is one of the best offers they've had in years. Rates as low as 4.75% and savings of up to $124,000 on move-in ready homes. The event ends May 31st. Schedule your tour today at McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be a sunny day. We may see a few clouds, cooler, high 68. Cloudy early tonight, couple of showers possible, and then clearing overnight with a low of 45. Tomorrow we'll have a mix of sun and clouds, cool, a high of 61. We have sunny skies now, 46 downtown at the Arch. The price of crude oil has spiked, and it's pushing prices at the pump sky high.
Benchmark Brent crude oil was topping $125 a barrel, with world oil supplies tightening up and no end to the standoff in the Strait of Hormuz in sight. That gets you today's national average price of a gallon of regular gas hitting $4.30, according to AAA.
That's actually insane.
That's Teddy at Madison Heights, Michigan, looking at almost $90 on the gas pump.
Nothing I can really do about it, but it is pretty outrageous.
$4.58 in Michigan today, says AAA. Michael Toscano, CBS News.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
All the countries that were saying, oh, we can get through this, we've got stockpiles, they're going through the stockpiles they had. Now they're coming to the market, pushing up the price of oil. Oil rises. About 2/3 of a gallon of gas is based on the price of oil. And boom, now we are $1.32 higher than we were before the war.
Schlesinger says these higher prices are pushing up inflation.
Americans are absorbing another $80-$100 a month because of these higher prices.
And that's impacting decisions by the central bank. Here's CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes.
The Federal Reserve declined to lower interest rates Wednesday, with Chairman Jerome Powell citing the rising cost of gas.
Remember, when gas prices go up, that's disposable income coming out of people's pockets, so they're going to spend less on other things.
With the U.S. and Iran both claiming to control the Strait of Hormuz, shipping traffic has fallen to 5% of its normal levels.
GasBuddy.com reports the average price of a gallon of regular unleaded in the St. Louis area, roughly $4.02. It was under $3 at the start of the Iran war. Make sure you stay with us. Coming up at 8:40, I'm going to speak with Beth Noble, former CBS News Moscow bureau chief and now a professor at Fordham University, about the Iran war, but specifically the tie to Russia and Ukraine. It's 8:34.
Make Cinco de Mayo delicious with Easy Cater, the easiest way to order food from favorite restaurants for all your celebrations. From April 27th through May 5th, every order placed earns you 1,000 bonus rewards points. Whether you're looking for traditional favorites like tacos and tortas, festive options like a build your own nacho bar, or hosting a breakfast fiesta with huevos rancheros and breakfast burritos, Easy Cater makes food for Cinco de Mayo a cinch. Order now at easycater.com with promo code Cinco de Mayo 26. Restrictions apply. See offer details.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
A major financial player is telling workers they have to come back to the office 5 days a week. Investment manager Fidelity is ending a policy that allowed employees to work remotely half the month. The new mandate takes effect in September. Checking on your money, stocks are getting a boost today from a set of positive earnings reports, including Google parent Alphabet, Eli Lilly, and Qualcomm. On the radar today is Apple, which reports its results after the closing bell. By the way, the tech giant is expected to debut a number of major products in upcoming months, notably a foldable iPhone. And American Express has added more benefits to its Gold Card in response to Gen Z and millennial demands for travel-linked perks. Gold Card holders are now eligible for 5 times the membership rewards on prepaid hotel bookings through the company's travel services, up from 2 times previously. They'll also gain complimentary 5-star status on rentals at Hertz, among other additions. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It's Tom Ackerman, St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories, making people very happy around the St. Louis area with their 9 locations where you can pull up your truck or trailer and fill it up with mulch or soil or compost for your garden, your yard, your flower beds. Now, if you're like me and you just want it delivered to your home, you can do that too. STLcompost.com makes it very easy. STLcompost.com. They have a cubic yards calculator where you can determine how much mulch, soil, or compost you need. In our case, we went with the color-enhanced dark walnut mulch. It looks great around the yard, and they will take care of business for you. They will deliver it to your home or job site. It is St. Louis Composting, STLcompost.com. St. Louis Composting for soil, for mulch, for compost, growing gardens, making memories. Very easy. 9 locations, STLcompost.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
All hail Spamalot, the Tony Award-winning best musical comedy that will have you laughing your coconuts off. The Washington Post declares Monty Python's Spamalot is the funniest musical on Broadway. Entertainment Weekly calls it a hilarious fun fest. The Washington Post says it's unfair to laugh this much. Get your tickets now for the musical comedy event of the year, Spamalot, playing the fabulous Fox May 5th through 17th. Tickets at fabulousfox.com.
The financial industry is getting rich on baby boomers. Don't be their next victim. Find out the truth of what's really going on in the retirement industry. Join Greg Ayler Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Gas prices up about 30 cents in 1 week to an average of $4.30 a gallon nationwide. Oil prices now around $116 a barrel. The nation's tech giants spending a record amount on AI in their first quarter earnings. Meta, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft say they spent a combined $131 billion on capital expenditures, mostly on data centers. The Wall Street Journal reporting Amazon considering a potential reboot of reality TV show The Apprentice. It would star President Trump's son, Don Jr. Let's check how things are rolling out there on the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I see a little bit of a jam right now, Megan, on westbound 70 coming out of the city. This traffic reports a service over Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, backed up Riverview through Jennings Station. Maybe there was something briefly out there because I don't see anything in the lanes blocked as you start to open up past that point. Westbound 370, the Mills, midway out to our city, have roadwork delays. Eastbound 70 past Bryan Road's a little slow. Southbound 61 crossing over onto 64 to the Boulevard. Still a couple of slow spots. Clarkson to Timberlake, Mason to 270, and east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley's heavy. South 170 bogs down at Ladue. South 270, 364 down through Ladue, a couple of busy spots. North 270, Gravois to Ladue, pretty slow the whole way through there. 55, Bayless Weber off the pace, and westbound 64, 50 through 159, and then again approaching 157, you have roadwork slowdowns. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Sunny today. We'll see a few clouds, a high of 68. Right now, sunshine 46 in downtown St. Louis. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin apparently had a lengthy phone conversation yesterday to talk about the war in Ukraine and the war in Iran. How much is Russia helping Iran? And could Russia actually aid in removing uranium from Iran? Let's get some analysis now from Dr. Beth Noble, former CBS News Moscow bureau chief and professor at Fordham University. Thank you so much for being with me this morning.
Hey, Megan, thank you so much for having me.
I feel like there is so much going on right now, and it almost seems like, and I think some analysts are saying this, that both Russia and Ukraine are looking to position themselves in some ways when we're looking at the war in Iran with some of their actions. Break that down a little bit for us.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Russia has had very close relations with Iran for many years. They have been very important to the Iranian nuclear energy sector, helping them build nuclear power plants. And Iran has given a lot of help to Russia in its war with Ukraine. The most important thing that Iran has done is given the drone technology to Russia, and Russia has used those drones to launch thousands and thousands of attacks on Ukraine. And so the Ukrainians have had to develop their own drone technology. And now there's a lot of talk that they might be able to give some of that drone technology to the West, so that they can use it in places like Iran and throughout the world.
Yeah, apparently they've been working with some Gulf states already on ways to shoot down some of those drones. You know, the one thing that we've heard too this week is Moscow's reportedly provided Tehran with intelligence and targeting information to attack U.S. military positions, warships, and aircraft. So I just wonder, what this conversation between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin was like.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I would have given anything to be a fly on the wall of that conversation. We haven't really been talking a lot about Ukraine over the last, month or so while there's been so much conflict in the Middle East. But that war is still going on every single day. There are attacks, Russian attacks on Ukraine, and there are also a lot of Ukrainian attacks back on Russia. President Trump, seems to say often that he thinks he has a good relationship with President Trump. At least they do speak with each other, whereas President Putin and President Biden sort of cut off relationships with each other when that war in Ukraine started. But Vladimir Putin, as someone who's been in the room with him several times, it's just a really tough person to negotiate with. He has his own version of reality of the world. He's very intent on getting what he's supposed to get for the Russian people. And President Trump and the West in general just doesn't have a lot of leverage over President Putin. There's really not that much that the West can do to try to get President Putin to move on ending that war in Ukraine. So, I think at the very best, maybe they're frenemies. It's a very, very delicate relationship. But again, at least they're talking with each other.
Well, what's so interesting is this discussion of Russia possibly removing some of that highly enriched uranium from Iran, even though they've been working against the U.S. in this. Could Russia actually be a key to ending that conflict in the Middle East?
Well, we'll see. The Russians have never confirmed that they've been giving targeting information to the Iranians, but it certainly makes a lot of sense that they would. They have very good intelligence gathering and satellite capabilities. It makes sense that they might want to make the situation in the Middle East a little bit more friendly to Iran and a little less friendly to the United States. Russia certainly has the capability to deal with the enriched uranium that might be in Iran because they have been helping them build these nuclear power plants for decades now. Maybe Russia could buy itself a little bit more, friendly relations with the West were it able to actually play a constructive role in ending the conflict in Iran.
Now, according to President Trump, he told Mr. Putin yesterday that he's more interested in Mr. Putin being involved with ending the war with Ukraine. Really and truly, how much interest does Putin have in any type of long-term ceasefire or resolution to the war in Ukraine?
Oh, wow, Megan, that is the $24,000 question, isn't it? And I think a lot of analysts think that President Putin really doesn't have a lot of reasons to end the war. And I know that sounds kind of crazy because Russian soldiers are dying in that war every day. The war has led to terrible effects on the Russian economy, on the lives of Russian people who can no longer do things like travel freely to a lot of countries, including the U.S. and Europe. But President Putin has gained a lot politically from this war, too. As long as that war is going on, people in Russia have to support him. They feel they have to be patriotic. And he's used the war as an excuse to really consolidate his power inside Russia. And so a lot of people say, you know what, this war is terrible and awful, but he will continue it as long as he can because it boosts his power inside Russia.
I have one last question for you as a former bureau chief. Are you concerned about news organizations' ability right now to adequately staff these locations around the world to provide those of us here in the U.S. consuming the top information on what's happening in these conflicts?
Oh boy, that's a tough question. I want to give a shout out to the many correspondents who are out there in dangerous places trying to do the important work of bringing the truth to bear. One of my favorites is Steve Rosenberg of the BBC, who started CBS and has been in and out of Russia for 30 years and continues to live there, continues to tell people about what's going on there, even though it definitely can be a scary place. But, the thing that's limiting journalists is not their desire to go places. People are willing and even anxious to go to some of these places because, that's what you do as a journalist. You want to tell the story. You want to be where things are happening. But it's very difficult for journalists to get permission to go to some of these places. Russia is not giving out a lot of visas for journalists. Iran has, kept all kinds of journalists out. So, let's hope that journalists continue to be able to get into those places and let us all know what's going on the ground to help also not only us make decisions, but more importantly, help our leaders make good decisions.
Beth, thank you so much for your time with us this morning.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
That is Dr. Beth Noble, former CBS News Moscow bureau chief and professor at Fordham University. Coming up, you may be planning some road trips this summer. We've got Bill on the road with us next to help you.
I'm Sean Malone. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It's Tom Ackerman. I hear this a lot in the St. Louis area. Yeah, I have an estate plan, I think, or we did that years ago, but we've been meaning to look at it again. And honestly, that's the problem. Estate plans are not one and done. My family has been clients of the Laterman Law Firm for more than 2 decades. What I've learned is most plans don't fail because people don't care. They fail because life changes and the plan doesn't keep up. At Laterman Law Firm, this isn't just paperwork. It's an ongoing process. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property, and then for a fixed annual fee, they actually help maintain it. So it stays aligned with changes in your life, changes in your assets, changes in the law. And that is a big reason we've stayed with them all these years. It's the Laterman Law Firm, latermanlaw.com, or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Many of us trying to plan some summer getaways. How about a road trip to help you connect with American history? Travel writer Bill Cleveland of Bill on the Road, taking his book, Presidential Road Trips on the Road. He'll be in our region over the next couple of months, but he joins us now here on KMOX. Good morning, Bill.
Hey, Megan. How's it going?
It's going well. Really good to talk to you again. You've actually turned this book into a presentation. The Smithsonian asked you to do this. You'll be bringing it to the area. How many years of travel did it take you to visit, 100 presidential sites or more?
Yeah, I went to almost all of them. There's still a couple that are escaping me that I'll get to eventually. But yeah, almost 100. And little over 10 years, I would say. The very first one I went to was the Gerald Ford Presidential Library up in Michigan. And at the time, I didn't even know what the heck a presidential library was. And I remember being in that museum, and I saw that somebody had saved the tools from the Watergate break-in. And I remember seeing that going, what on earth? Like, who is saving all of these things, And it kind of sparked an interest in presidential history. And so, so I've been to all the presidential libraries and museums, almost all of the presidential homes and grave sites and other sites and things like that. So, it's a little over 10 years. And then I decided to put it all into book form, just to sort of help guide folks to, kind of have these experiences as well all over the country.
Well, I grew up in the Springfield, Illinois area. So as you can imagine, we were just immersed in Lincoln presidential history because of that. But I know you've looked at some other sites in the Missouri and the greater region as well. What are some quick sites that people in St. Louis could hit if they want to take part in some of these presidential road trips?
Yeah, well, you mentioned Springfield. So I'm really thankful I get to do my presentation at the at the Lincoln Presidential Library in June. So anybody in Springfield listening, come on out and say hi. But so there's a lot that are easy to get to from the St. Louis area. I say easy, of course. I drive all over the place. Maybe I'm a little biased here, but you mentioned Springfield. So many great Lincoln sites there. Iowa actually has the Hoover Presidential Library. That's getting ready to reopen. They've done it took a 2-year time to close it down and then refurbished and everything. So that'll be brand spanking new. You've got the Obama Presidential Library opening up in Chicago next month. In Missouri, of course, if you haven't been to the Truman Presidential Library and Museum, that is absolutely worth a visit, a road trip up 70. They redid their museum a few years ago, and it's phenomenal. It's really, really cool, very interactive, and just really cool exhibits. And then what else you've got? Of course, here in the St. Louis area, if you've ever been to the Grant home, one of the many homes that Grant lived in here in St. Louis, right across from Grant's farm. You can check that one out. Truman's birthplace is down in southern Missouri. So, you've got some options locally, but most of these, Megan, truly are in Virginia, Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania. That's kind of where the bigger ones are located.
I always like to see something quirky or a little weird when I travel. What would you say maybe is one of the quirkiest or weirdest presidential sites that you visited?
I don't know that I can pick necessarily a quirky one that really stands out. I will tell you what was really interesting. I went to the FDR home a couple of years ago up in Hyde Park, New York. And even I think this qualifies as quirky, but I found it so fascinating. So, of course, he had polio. In his home, he had an elevator. And so, but the elevator wasn't electric. It was run with a pulley system. And so FDR would go into his elevator and pull himself up to the second floor and again back down to the main floor whenever he wanted to, because he was afraid that the electricity would go out or there'd be a fire and he would be stuck in the elevator. So I thought that was pretty interesting. One of the many kind of quirky little things I found in some of these homes.
Well, that is Bill Cleveland. The book, if you're interested, is Presidential Road Trips, 100 Places to Explore and Experience the History of American Presidents. And like I said, you're going to be in the area coming up, Bill. The next visit is Kirkwood Public Library, May 11th, and then St. Charles Public Library as well.
Yeah, I'll be at the Spencer Road branch in St. Peter's, and then we've got a handful of events throughout June. People can go to billontheroad.com and click on, there's a book tour tab. You can see them all. But yeah, really cool presentation I put together for the Smithsonian for President's Day earlier this year. And so, I'll be sharing that. There's lots of really fun stories. I've got a lot of great behind the scenes video content people will be able to see. And it should be a lot of fun.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for spending some time with us this morning.
All right. Sounds good. See you later.
That is Bill Cleveland. That book is also on Amazon, and it just went on sale at the Missouri History Museum gift shop, by the way. Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM, double the number of May Day protests are planned this year, calling for strikes, school walkouts, and shopping boycotts tomorrow. We're going to find out what it's all about when I talk with WashU sociologist Andy Andrews tomorrow morning at 8:10.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
A short nap